Hello. Okay, we are back in the building. Okay, so I'm going to drop this link right now, and hopefully someone will come up and share their POV. Whether you want to, hey, Mademoiselle, thanks for coming again. Whether you guys want to come up and drop your thoughts about the code of conduct, about the debate, um, about candy, about whatever you guys want to drop your thoughts about. We are welcoming all opinions, all POVs, all the stands can come out into play. All of them. You guys can come, okay? Because we were just live and we were just talking about the code of conduct that NBC Universal has blustered it, after the reality reckoning. And I don't even like to start there. Like starting at the reality reckoning for me is like starting on October 7th. Like it's just, it didn't start there. You know what I'm saying? Like, so, but that's a great place if you want to start paying attention. However, it started a way while ago, you know? And I don't even know that I've been saying all the roads lead back to Nene Leakes because she was the first person to say so much about what was happening behind the scenes in Bravo sphere, NBC Universal sphere. And so I feel like that's where it's before. That was the reality reckoning. What Nene did, that was the original reality reckoning. What Bethany did is reality reckoning 2.0. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So Mamos said someone can read the code of conduct on another live, and it's quite interesting. Oh, they got the whole code of conduct? Who did that, Mademoiselle? You can tell me. You can go ahead and tell me. I would love to go catch it because I was only able to come up with the article. I scoured, and I did finally find a PDF that said it was Bravo Int, but it was out of like freaking Canada or something. And so it wasn't Bravo Entertainment or NBC Universal. And NBC Universal specifically would be making the Bravo's conducts because Bravo's a subsidiary of NBC Universal. Diva and her guests. Gray hair Diva? Haven't been over her house in a while. Let's go take a look. The gray hair Diva. Oh, look, Naughty's live too. Darn. Let's see. Let's see. Chronicles of the Gray Hair Diva. The door is closed. Love B. Scott confirms. Let's see. And a panelist, huh? Haters are truth. So sad. Fumbled the bag. Good rating. Set up. Stop it. I wonder which one it is. Yeah, if you can find it, and they actually had the code of conducts, then I will definitely. Yeah. Let's see. Because I don't think that it's yeah, it wasn't easy to find for sure. It's not easy to find. Miss Kiki's back in the house. Look, I dropped the link if anybody wants to come up and give their opinions so they can tell us what's happening. Because we don't have to play too long. As far as the debate, like I said, I didn't watch the entire thing. Back to enhancing their overall thing. Let's see. Yeah. Okay, Curvies. So I just feel like Kenya should have maybe read her contract in more detail. Maybe her agent, her manager, or somebody, maybe her producer. Because, oh my gosh, that's very interesting. Because the article we just read on that was in Deadline about NBC Universal's code being enhanced, they did specifically say they would be reaching out to their third party partners, like Truly Entertainment, I suppose that includes, and their batch of producers. So people are also alleging that um, Ken's production knew she was going to be doing something like this. And maybe the production team would need to get handled too, because if they got an enhanced code of conduct that they were supposed to be receiving training for and everything, and then they still let Kenya do this, hey, it sounds like everybody needs to get fired. Yay, life twirls on. Thanks for coming up, Voice Twin. What are your thoughts? What are the thoughts of the day? You're muted. Let me see.
Hello, Voice Twin. Happy Friday.
Hey, happy Friday. How are you?
I'm very good. How are you in sunny California?
Oh, I'm excellent. So far, we're only what, to 80? It's only 80 right now. Oh, yep, it just turned 80. So mama's good right now. It's going to be 97 or something crazy later, but I'm good now. How are you?
I am good. We are at 86 where I am, and so is the salon.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
We are expecting rains, and she did say that she's only open on the weekends. So,
right?
We'll see about her clientele coming in.
We'll see if they support her, if they want her to not, if they want to replace her $90,000 a month. Let's see about that. Can Team Twirl replace her $90,000 a month?
They better figure something out, because she is hurting for cash. 90,000 a month. Furthermore, I think it was you who mentioned that the lease is not under Twirl, it's under her production. Her production, her business.
Yes.
Which further proves that she's using the space for content. It's not a business that's actually in the business to do hair.
Right.
She was using this space for the show. You, as a front, oh, it's a salon. Kenya does not even need to advertise a salon. You're Kenya. You are the chocolate Rapunzel.
Yes.
That place is going to be packed just off you under general principle.
Mm-hmm.
And yet she's struggling, quote unquote. She's struggling because she cannot run a business. That has nothing to do with clientele. It has everything to do. She cannot run a business.
Right.
When Mark was on the show, he even mentioned at that couples brunch that Kenya Moore Hair Care was a mess until he got involved.
Ooh,
he said that. Mark said that.
Yeah, well, there is a lot to be said for, you want to be an entrepreneur, but then there's a business side to it. And you have to have those chops, or at least develop them.
She's not doing anything. I want to do the Korean hair spa treatment. I want to do this. I want to do that. Have we ever seen there's no workstation. There's no tools. Where's hairspray? There's nothing. For Christ's sake, the vast majority of us are Black women. We have gone to the salon at some point in our life since age 3. All of us. There is not one Black woman within these United States who has not sat her little behind in a salon chair. We all know what is a salon. You are here outside of Atlanta in Chamblee. She's not even far away from me. You can open and be in business, but she doesn't want to do anything because it's a front. It's like, right. It's not a legitimate salon business. It never has been. It never was. And you've been mentioning this grand opening.
Yeah.
It's just Kenya stays lying For no
Right.
reason. Kenya just lies.
She may as well paint herself orange and run for president at this point.
Why not? Why not? Just run directly out of Detroit.
Mm-hmm.
Michigan State Representative, do something. But Kenya
Mm-hmm.
needs to figure out what she's going to do for money because you made it very clear. Kenya has violated code of conduct. Times have changed. You signed this code of conduct before they ever set foot with cameras into your salon. You knew what you were doing.
Uh-huh.
Nobody created Kenya the villain. Kenya came to this show on level 10.
Yeah.
She has
She
such,
did.
she did. She
Yep.
came here with an immediate, you can pick on Portia because she's Portia and her personality, it bothers you. You have deep disdain for Portia because she's Portia. You behave the way you do. And because of Kenya, a lot of people do not want to be on this show. Case in point, TLC. T-Boz and Chili both said in an interview, like, I don't want a bullhorn in my face.
Oh my gosh. I didn't know that.
Yes, they did. Yes, they did.
Well,
They've
I mean,
been asked.
especially after how she could treat an icon like Kim Fields. I bet T-Boz and them were like, we not, but look, we from a girl band. We've done fighting with hoes. Like, you know what I'm
They're
saying?
not
Like,
going to do it. And we have Candy, and you have someone like Candy in Atlanta. Candy, who is such a staple, who has connections. So off Candy alone, other people are going to join this show. So we could have had one of the former members of Destiny's Child on this show because Candy's affiliated with them.
right,
She has affiliations with TLC. She is that producer. She
right.
knows so many people who could have just come on this show and been with Candy, but Candy doesn't want to do it. These women do not want to come together as a team and work. And I wanted to just a friendly reminder. I'm sure you remember in the 90s, the cast of Friends. And it's really important to bring this up. And I wanted to say this on your live
Right.
because they also were just remember the show Friends
Yeah.
was distributed under NBC Universal,
Right.
just like these Real Housewives franchise.
Mm-hmm.
Bravo, the whole channel Bravo in the 90s when Friends was going on was a very different Bravo. I actually remember watching it back then.
Right.
I think it's like Andy Cohen coming in, bringing in, the success from New York, Tiffany Pollard, and the whole 80s Dynasty, Knots Landing, those TV shows. So
Uh-huh.
doing like this glamorous show with reality. And of course it was successful because Nene made it successful. She did commercialize this show and she took it to a whole new level.
Right. Because nobody was really checking for OC.
Nobody was checking for OC
Yeah.
or really Bravo, until Nene just did what Nene does.
Yeah.
Just, Black women, just do things like
That's
that.
what I'm saying. That
And
part.
and Candy, you're here, you are industry. We're bringing a whole new energy to Atlanta. We have so many people from Atlanta. I actually went to college with a guy who lived next door to Jermaine Dupri and Janet Jackson in Buckhead. He grew up right next door to them.
Yeah.
And keep in mind, his father, I think, was a dentist or something like that. But his dad is a professional. His dad was just a professional. But yeah, think about this. And you grew up in Buckhead, right next door to Jermaine Dupri and Janet Jackson. And he also was a white boy who smoked Newports too. Like he was just all. No, I kid you not. This is when I was in college. This is Atlanta.
Yeah.
But these women do not want to come together like what happened with Friends. Friends negotiated their contract as one unit.
Right.
It was Phoebe, Lisa Kudrow, who led the way. She was the only college graduate. And they were able to negotiate not just an increase in pay, but their residuals. The drawback was that they had to pay for their own wardrobe. I remember this very well. And now look what happened. This was coming early 2000s. Actually, no, late 90s. They were able to, as one unit, the whole cast of Friends were able to negotiate their contract to the point that till this day, Friends and syndication, Friends has been off air for like 20 years now.
Yeah.
They each make $50 million each.
That's what, because they stayed on code with each other. There
Code.
was not a crab among them,
Nope,
and
not
they
one.
all unified and they knew to stay on freaking code. And
Yes.
that's why my husband wants us to stay on code so bad. We need to not be turning our own selves in, turning our back on each other. We need to keep it together in front of everybody, get what we need, and then go about, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just so baffling to me that we don't take those types of examples and then use that instead of just the treachery examples.
And
It's
I think, voice twin, I think a big issue is Candy. Because I do not understand how someone herself coming from this industry, Candy, you grew up in this industry. Candy is coming from Escape, which is the first hip hop girls group. Escape was on the new Mickey Mouse Club in
yeah,
1990, 91. I
right,
remember I'm still in diapers with my juice box, seeing her being introduced by JC and Timberlake.
right.
This is like, you are coming here. Wow. Oh my God. The first, like seeing these Black girls on television before I even knew Aaliyah.
Uh-huh.
Candy is so deep in this industry. Like we could have a
Right,
whole live just focus on Candy and her success.
right.
Candy, you know what to do. Candy is not new to this. She's true to this. But the
Mhm.
fact she does not want to work together because she will allow her ego to stop everything.
Well,
She
she does
never
the same thing with the group though, too.
That's exactly my point.
Yeah,
She always thinks about herself.
herself,
She has never thought about this show
the
as a unit
collective,
and this show being
exactly.
successful
But she keeps getting rewarded for it too. Like, it
because she's
hasn't worked
willing to do
against her.
whatever it takes for Bravo. You know, she, I mean, I'm of the opinion, this is not the opinions of Larger Curves and Larger Curves YouTube channel. This is just my opinion. I do find her behavior to be very deviant. I don't like the way she moves as a woman. I really don't like, she moves in a direction that I just would not do at all. And
Yeah.
I'm not surprised. And you can complain about the dungeon and Phaedra and Portia because actions speak louder than words, and birds of a feather flock
Flock
together.
together.
We have been hearing stories about Tiny and
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 yeah,
Tip and
yep.
Ti since the 90s. There have been stories. This is your best friend, Tiny, that you grew up together with. You've known Tiny since the 80s. So are you really going to say that you just don't know anything? Are these stories so unfounded? Like, Candy, come on. You can
Right.
complain all you want, but your behavior just just doesn't move in the same direction with the words that come out of your mouth. And
Exactly.
I just, Candy is just a liability. I think there's so much more to this story when it comes to Candy and Bravo, especially
Hmm.
the new code of conduct with all of the litigation they're going through. And
Yeah.
let's not forget, voice twin, Kenya even checked Candy when it came to all those, the dildos. I want to be careful with what I say on your channel. You know,
I think dildos is allowed. That's not a bad word, is it?
and I just to be on the safe side. But even Kenya got into Candy about that.
Yeah.
I mean, Candy's like, well, why are you being like that? No, she doesn't know boundaries and when to like stop. Like, Candy, chill out with this. She keeps pushing you, and it's always with her objects. And we've
Yeah.
seen her do this time and time again, and she keeps setting people up. Bolo was all Candy. The situation at Todd's birthday party, when they had the Jordan 23 birthday party, and they were setting up Portia, they set her up, but it didn't work out because Portia at that time was pregnant. So her little scheme didn't work out very well because they were lying against Portia. She's always doing something. Candy has such anger towards and insecurities towards Nene. She does. Candy got mad at Phaedra because she really believed Phaedra chose Nene over her. And this goes all the way back to the whole Apollo situation. So Candy and Todd are over here behaving inappropriate. They're keeping things in their house, which they had no business to do. Getting involved with Apollo, that was not your place,
Yeah.
not your place. And Apollo at the Married to Medicine reunion, he even brought that up, that the actions that, and also Apollo was on Michelle's live as well, that the actions Todd took, the actions Bravo took, got him into trouble again with the government. And we already know Apollo was already in trouble with the government. Like,
So,
Candy,
on that tip, we just
come
found out
on.
from, do you think it's true? Speaking about production, real quick digression. Teresa Giudice Ruelala just confessed recently to Kim D and Jackie Larita. They had a reunion on her podcast that wasn't even like a full $120, $120,000 stack in her purse. It was like ones and twenties, and production gave her more money to make it look like she was paying for. Remember that infamous scene where she paid for everything cash, and that's probably what got him on the radar of the feds in the first place. Remember? She just admitted that production gave her extra money to make it look like she had enough money for that, but that transaction was fake. Did you hear about that?
I didn't hear about that.
Yeah.
These women, and there's going to be a big time change to how things are going to be done now. 2024 is just incredible. And we're really, our Bravo's on the hot seat right now. And Kenya does not want to respect that you cannot behave the way you behaved then. And
Right.
Candy rationalizing Kenya, it really speaks volumes of Candy's character. Like, she's just not a woman of good character. And you didn't like it because here's the thing, I don't know what Phaedra said. People can keep blaming Phaedra for whatever she did to Candy. We don't know what Phaedra did to Candy.
Right.
Phaedra is, at the end of the day, Phaedra still has her bar license.
Right. And if it was that bad, then couldn't something have happened to that?
Absolutely. At 100%. Larja, let's not forget, there is someone that we know by the name of William Jefferson Clinton. He lied under oath, and he also lost his bar license. His bar license was revoked. Why? Because he lied under oath.
See?
You can't do, you're an attorney. And there is,
Phaedra, to this day, will not even talk about it.
No, she will
and
not.
That kind of screams to me that either she can't, that's what it screams to me, is that she can't. And I also came across an article recently that suggested that Candy and Todd got a settlement and had to sign the NDA around all of that also. So, hey, I don't know. Allegedly, that's what happened. So I feel like there's some type of gagging happening, that she has not just cleared her name, period, as far as Phaedra goes. I feel like she's trying to make a comeback right now, but without really fully addressing that whole, everybody still thinks she's a freaking liar.
And Phaedra doesn't care. She doesn't care, and she's never going to speak on the matter. And she's handled herself very well since this whole Candy Portia situation.
Yeah.
But she just doesn't care. And it's really in her best interest, as Phaedra, to stay away from Candy. It really is just, you don't want to get mixed up with how Candy moves. People that Candy is affiliated with have already had very serious allegations against them. And on top of that, there's also, the whole situation. Something happened with the then mayor of Atlanta, Keisha Lance Bottom, that Candy knows. And Kenya likes the fact that Candy has this type of connection. And she got into some trouble. There's all of this nonsense going on in Atlanta. And Phaedra, you live there. You are a practicing bard. You are a bard attorney in the state of Georgia. Don't get involved with Candy. And now look at what's happened, Voice Twin. Phaedra's on Married to Medicine. She looks incredible. Apollo is beautiful. Apollo is at the reunion. He still looks very handsome. He's still, he is still the HNIC, in my opinion. Yeah, it was Apollo. And now Nene has this amazing new show on Lifetime, which I personally I'm actually excited to watch. I like Nene. She looks amazing, better than ever. Everybody is winning. Portia's in a mess, but Portia is Portia, and hopefully things will work out with her and her husband. But everybody who's supposed to be winning is winning, and those who behave badly are having their own issues. Candy has her restaurant. Why don't you, with your business acumen, Candy, help out your friend Kenya? As opposed to talking about Kenya being messy and inappropriate, breaking code of conduct, why don't you impart your business acumen to Kenya and help out her business, because she needs it now.
Right. Because she doesn't share like that. I don't think she cares like that either.
Really? That's
Yeah.
just so crazy. Like you have a restaurant and your buddy has a whole salon. Kenya, the pageant queen from the 90s. Like the both of you were really like hot in the 90s. I
Uh-huh.
really, I know all of us remember Kenya and Candy individually in the 90s growing up. Like I have so many memories of them. I
Yeah.
just don't see how they're both now in ATL. They were past tense on a show. Why are they not working together? Like, why are they not doing something together to make money? They both are coming in with their own amount of fame and followers and attention. Like, it's just like you don't understand. Like, I just don't understand these two. Like, they cannot work together, but yet they only work together when it comes to chaos and harassing Black women at the workplace.
Right. I am disappointed that Candy took time out of her touring schedule to double down on defending Ken. It speaks volumes that she would do a double down. She could have just been like, oh, she could have just not said another thing, seeing how it landed so poorly. But I feel like her and Ken share the gene of not reading the room. Because for her to double down on that, that's not going to look good for her in the long run. And how we're having this talk, there are a lot of people rethinking Candy right now, you know? And as far as Ken goes, she just needs to stay on timeout. I did repost that she is out with Brooklyn now that she has time. It looked like they were on a little, trip or whatever. And so hopefully let me show you guys this real quick. So we heard that soliloquy that Ken did, trying to slut shame old girl, right? Well,
Absolutely.
yeah. Um, this morning, Ken was posting thirst traps on her Instagram. Did you guys see it? Reposting thirst traps on her Instagram. I'm like, really, Ken? Let me see. Can I present this? Are you
She
going to
needs a
participate?
man.
She does. And well, it was a man that reposted it. They were like, oh, she's still the. I'm like, girl. Here we go. Kenya. See if she
Kenya,
left it up.
imagine being in your 50s. You have a kindergartner and you're unemployed. And like it's really like life is hitting her hard big time. Kenya has been humbled. And this does not even speak about Kenya in 10 years having to address her teenage daughter, because that's going to
You
happen.
see this? That's the picture she posted this morning, you guys. So doesn't this seem like her soliloquy was a little bit of projection? I wonder if
Is
she
this
got
a
paid.
recent picture though? Is this recent?
Huh?
Is
No,
is
this is a
this
throwback. It says this is a at Kenya throwback account, I guess. And this dude Keith Major posted it, and Kenya reposted it. And the little at on the side right here. Let me see. Can I show you? See how it says at Kenya throwbacks? And this dude right here is who posted it, and then Kenya reposted it. But this kind of looks like somebody might have been asking for 1,400 in a Snapchat.
but you have to adjust for inflation though.
Right? So it might have been only like 300 at the time.
Three
You know?
Oh my gosh.
But it's perplexing to me. The amount of incel vibes that Ken gives off when she's slut shaming, body shaming, sex shaming other women for doing what it takes to make a baby and for putting their bodies on display. We were just talking about how she acts weird around Candy when she starts pulling out dildos and has to put on lingerie. And it's just weird that she would take time out of her grand opening to slut shame somebody for posting pictures that are kind of like this And this is how we came to know Ken after she got into the beauty pageants. She got awarded Miss Beauty Pageant, but then she had to go to Mexico and get her booty. And then she came back and was doing these types of magazines all over the place, you guys. So I'm not sure why she's so upset that other young, beautiful women are using their bodies to come up. I'm not sure what her problem is. It's weird.
Kenya has reached big age, and she's clearly having a period of self-reflection. She's aging out. You cannot keep behaving like this. I mean, she looks good, but she has such insecurities when it comes to women who are younger. Like there's no reason for it. She wants to be friends with the hot girl. Candy is just not that. Portia is.
Right. Candy's not her competition.
No, not at all. Not at all. Candy has connections. She's a good means to an end. Candy has connections. She's been in the industry, but she's not bad. Like she's not fly like that. And it's like Kenya wants that friend, Portia, but she's just not cool like that. Kenya just isn't like a girl's girl. She's just so mean and abusive. And then she was allowed to do this for like a decade.
A decade! Oh my God, a decade, voice twin. It's like perplexed. For a decade, non-team twirlers have been like, can you get this bitch off our screen already? Can you stop her or start her telling the truth? Can you stop her lies and shenanigans and start her reality? Is what we've been saying. But team twirlers are like, oh my God, she's so fabulous. That whole twirl thing was based off of chaos. Remember that whole scene when she twirled the first time? That was all chaos. And even Nene was in the scene like, well, can't we just like fix it? Because Nene was trying to fix things then. And she was like, I'm twirling the bed. And ever since then, it's just been like craziness from her. But she does look great here. And she looks great here too. Let's go back right here. See her.
She looks good. Like, why can't she just respect her fact that you look good and be happy with yourself? And this whole mother excuse is just that. It's an excuse.
An excuse.
Like, I know you wish you had the situation having a mommy and, coming from like a well-known family, but Portia comes from Kenya comes from solid Black middle class. You are a pageant queen. You were in the Money Ain't a Thing video with Jermaine Dupri and Jigga Man with Tracy Bingham. You have done so well for yourself. I just don't know why she will not just be happy with who she is, where she is, and just move forward. Her entire time on RHOA was just horrible and so unbecoming of a woman of her stature. And this is a logical conclusion. Like, this really is a logical conclusion. That audio was it brought me back to her and that bullhorn and how she was.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Just that type of abuse towards another Black woman. And you think you keep doing that, and because you have people who like seeing other Black women abuse other Black women. They really do enjoy this. And this is the workplace. And it's very sad. And now people really need to know things are changing. You cannot behave like this anymore. You were able to get away with it because you're abusing another Black woman. But now if the liability is just too great now.
Right.
These companies are getting sued. They really are getting sued now, unlike before. And Georgia, everybody really better take heed and behave yourself.
Because there's digital laws now. Like before, the internet, you could do a little bit of muck, but this is just too far. And there are clearly established state legislative laws at this point to protect high school girls from revenge porn. Therefore, that makes Britt Eady protected from revenge porn. You know what I'm saying? It's just like times have gone on so far that you're right. This kind of stuff is just not acceptable in public. It's not acceptable on our TV. Period. 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 3905 on the video. Oh, on the video for Diva. Here, I'm going there again. I had it open. And we will see what I can find out, y'all. 3905. Shout out. 39. Coming her way. Can you guys hear this audio? Talk about fumbling your bag. This is just shout out to real quick. Shout out to Chronicles of Diva. This is audio from someone who is on her panel. Let's go right here. Talk about fumbling your bag. This is just my heart breaks for her, but at the same time, there is no other recourse. She cannot be. I don't see her coming back, and I don't see why Bravo would. They honestly can't. Yeah, I appreciate you. Yes, everybody, hit the like button. Wayne, you're up. Was that what you were talking about, Mademoiselle? Yeah. I don't know. That was from the video that you listed that said trending topics so sad. I went to 3905 and played that. So sad, can you more? Oh no, that was not that video. Sorry. So sad, can you more? Can mother son. Okay, this one 39. Let me go there. 3905 right here. Again, shout out Chronicles of the Gray Hair Diva. And let's play this. Well, come on, talk to us. Thank you so much. Mm-hmm. So for anyone who wants to check it for validity, only thing you have to do is Google the NBC Universal Handbook. And on page 1 of 13, it starts out with harassment prohibited. Okay, come on, so that folks can really
can you hear that okay, voice twin?
Implemented.
I can hear it.
Okay. October 2023. Mm-hmm. So I don't know what existed prior to this, but this is what's in play right now. So the general. Oh, and she said that this person is a panelist on the Gray Hair Divas channel, and she got the handbook for NBC Universal, and she went to the page, and I guess I could just go there and do that. But let's see. We were just talking about the code of conduct being enhanced per the article in September 2023. According to this panelist, it was actually updated and enacted October, 1 month later, September, October. So they wrote the article in September saying they're going to enhance it. And in October, this is the updated wording of the article, of the code. Harassment is a type of discrimination. It includes conduct that creates a disrespectful, intimidating, hostile, degrading, or offensive work environment for another individual based on one or more of the protected characteristics listed above. And those characteristics come under race and gender and nationality. But they're private parts. She was a sexual pusher. She always said Marla was an escort and had a credit card reader between her legs. Oh my gosh. Felicia, you're up. Well, good evening, everyone. I'm so glad to be here with all of you on this Tuesday. Diva, if you will allow me to read from the NBC Universal handbook for a brief moment, I would appreciate it. Oh, cool. Come on, talk to us. Thank you so much. Mm-hmm. So for anyone who wants to check it for validity, one thing you have to do is
Google the NBC Universal Handbook. And
Okay, do that real quick. We're going to do that. NBC Universal Handbook. Come on now. So many windows open. Because it sounds like she's going to be talking about it. Employee handbook. Let's try this one. And then she said it's on page what now?
really understand this was implemented last October 2023. So I don't know what existed prior to this, but this is what it is. Well, the general concept is, what is it? Harassment is a type of discrimination. It includes conduct that creates a disrespectful, intimidating, hostile, degrading, or offensive work environment for another individual based on one or more of the protected characteristics listed above. And those characteristics come under race and gender and nationality, religious, things like that. So they say who is covered. The company will not tolerate harassment of its employees or job applicants by other NBC Universal employees or by non-employees, such as contingent workers, freelancers, contractors, vendors, and guests. So then it goes on and says, well, when or where does this apply? This policy applies to conduct at work and in work-related settings, whether on company premises or off-site, and whether during or outside of regular work hours. It includes during work-related travel, on production locations, social events with colleagues, including vendors or other business partners, and on social media sites. Examples. Harassment can take many forms. It can be verbal, physical, or environmental. Hold on, Felicia. Hold on 1 second. You said it can be verbal. Did y'all not hear the audio? Yeah. Did you not hear the audio? Go ahead, go talk to us. It can be verbal, physical, or environmental. Identifying what is harassment involves reviewing the specific situation, but the following examples illustrate some of the types of conduct that may violate this policy. 1. Derogatory, ridiculing, or demeaning comments. 2. Jokes that reference a protected characteristic. 3. Slurs or name calling. 4. Reliance on or expression of stereotypes. 5. Nonverbal behavior, such as staring at someone in an intimidating fashion. 6. Express or implied threats. 7. Destruction or defacement of an individual's property or workspace. 8. Use of one's physical stature or presence to intimidate or interfere with others. 9. Use of one's perceived stature or position within the company to intimidate others. 10. Excluding others or making them feel unwelcome. Display or showing offensive images. 12. Or unwelcome comments about appearance, personal or physical characteristics. And finally, inappropriate touching or other physical contact.
Well, it sounds indeed like she broke all the harassment things. Oh my gosh. Oh my goodness. What do you think, voice twin?
I cannot tell you how triggered I am right now because I went through something worse. Everything you just said right now, I encountered this in my younger years at the first corporation I worked at, and it was Black women. And I don't want to get into
Yeah.
detail, but I went through, and they were all older than me, and it was to this day, till this day, I still suffer from some very serious PTSD from what happened. And I reported every incident for 2.5 years,
And they did nothing.
including the EEOC, who was
Mm,
right along with them. Like,
mm.
that's why I think for myself personally, when I first saw Kenya with that bullhorn at Porsche, it made me so angry.
Yeah.
Like, you would do this to a girl who is 10 years younger than you and shout, you're a dumb hoe.
Yeah.
And then to go get up and say, get fired, to do something like this. And then Portia getting arrested, having a mugshot. This type of, I really, really, really just wish Black women leave other Black women alone at the workplace. Stop trying to shame, humiliate, and think about one thing, voice twin. It's always a group. You will have more. It's not one. This is not just Kenya. It's Kenya and Candy.
Oh yeah.
Not
It's
just Kenya.
Robin and Giselle.
Robin and Giselle.
Yep.
And at least they didn't even. I mean, and just that's another discussion. When you look at what they were doing towards Monique, and then Monique wants to inflict her anger onto Candace, someone who's like 20 pounds shorter, 20 pounds lighter than you and shorter than you. And you're Monique, as beautiful as you are. You're just like this, and then that's not even talking about the other woman on the show, the biracial woman who has she has a lot of issues on Potomac. She's no longer on I think Carrie, I forgot her name, but she was also on that show. It's just like, it always comes down to like shaming, humiliating, abusing. It's like, it doesn't stop. Remember like Jersey Shore? They would go back and forth with each other, but at the end of the day, they would all have dinner and they all still get along with each other. And they would all like party and get drunk, go crazy, but yet they would all come together and like let things go and sit down, have dinner, like that. That big Italian Staten Island family.
Yeah.
Like, you cannot have that with
Katie Ross
or Katie. Thank you. You can't even have that with Potomac or Atlanta. You cannot do that. Beverly Hills, people, at least when we think about that dinner with Kim Richards, she was so frustrated, but that even at the end, there were apologies and Rinna knew to like, let me back out and let things go.
Right.
A main issue, even Brandy knew to sit back, sit down, and be quiet.
Right.
It's like it's just like with these other shows, there really does seem to be a stop, but the humiliation and the shaming, like, I'm going to come with another Black woman, plan and coordinate with another Black woman to shame, humiliate, and abuse.
OMG. Thanks for coming up, Callie. Let's let voice twin finish and then we'll hear your thoughts.
Oh,
okay.
Yeah, Callie Nola. Interesting. Okay, I'll go ahead and drop. You're the best.
No. Voice twin, what's happening? You guys banter?
No, I've been here for so long. I definitely want to give somebody else.
I want to finish your thoughts. I want you to finish.
I'm good.
You were in the middle of a sentence.
Oh, voice twin, I have said so much. And I do want to hear what other people have to say, for sure.
Well, I love you, and I thank you for coming up and sharing your thoughts with me.
Thank you.
And they were so complete, and I always love your POV. Everybody, that's my voice twin, y'all. That's my voice twin.
It is interesting. Like, I hear you, then I hear me. It's just like, it's
weird, right? It's almost like an echo.
Like hearing an echo.
Palaver loves you too. They're like, please keep talking. Look.
No, but Callie, she's, Callie, is here. So, and I don't want to take up for everybody. I do want to hear what everyone else has to say. So more of you come up. It is Friday. Okay, I'm going to get back in your live chat now.
Oh, okay. Well, I love you. Thanks for coming. Palaver, thanks for being here. Miss Kiki, thanks for being here. Callie, thanks for being here. April Morgan's in the house. What are your thoughts? Sarah, you know what? Sarah has a channel in these YouTube streets. She
Uh,
was talking about the
you know,
fiasco of the debate last night. What are your thoughts, Callie? We in here talking about it all.
I'm trying to make sure we're not getting static because I have a lot of devices in my house, and sometimes they try to connect to each other.
Yeah, no, I hear you
But
fine. How have you been?
I'm good. This is, this thing with, well, first of all, how are you?
Oh, you know what? I'm blessed and highly favored. Even when I can complain, I choose not to.
Same here. I'm a little sick, so I might sound a little bit like the president right now. But
Well, I hope you feel better. As long as you're not pooping on yourself, girl, you're all
oh
good.
gosh, I hope that's not happening. But oh man. But anyhow, this thing with Kenya is interesting because, and I don't know if it was just marketing, but it seemed like she was a last minute ad because when they first started talking about the cast, we didn't know for sure if she was coming back.
Uh-huh.
So it's almost like they kind of added her at the last minute and then kind of saw which way it was going and saw this as an opportunity to change their minds.
Yeah.
Because if they're, I understand the code of conduct, and the code of conduct, it sounds like it was just dispatched in October. So I think a lot of these shows that we're seeing may have been filmed. I'm not sure. I know Dubai is old. So I think Dubai was filmed. Somebody told me like almost 2 years ago, I think. It was whenever Beyonce did that performance. And that was a long time.
Oh yeah, I forgot. That is a great way to see what time it happened because Beyonce,
Yeah.
right? Okay.
And then on Jersey, it looks like they're in last spring because there's no possible way it could have been this spring. They can't edit that fast. So it looks like they're a year ago.
So that means, so you're saying that this conduct was initiated after Jen's push, perhaps?
Yeah, it seems like this happened in October. So I think with the situation with Girls Trip with Brandy, and I'm glad that Caroline did speak up and do something about that, because a lot of people put up with those sorts of things. They don't say anything, and they just let people get away with that stuff. And I just kind of wonder if these shows are going to be able to sustain, because part of these shows was essentially them exploiting unstable people.
Right? Like at this point, the psych evaluation is to make sure you're a wackadoo.
Yeah, well, no, it always has been. I remember many years ago, I worked for an architectural firm, and we had a client who, and I can say this because my NDA has been expired, was the president of Endemol. And he flat out told us that they look for people that are, I'm just going to use my own words, they're wackadoos. And he said that we would never be picked to be on any Survivor or any type of show because we were all too stable. And I don't know if he was saying that sarcastically, but I kind of felt like he was a little bit serious. But I'm just wondering with this code of conduct, and I think they needed it. My issue is I wonder if the shows are going to be able to sustain, especially when you put verbal in there. Because now it's like, what constitutes as verbal harassment? Now,
is it going to be light shade? Or is it going to be all shade? Is it going to be like, how do you draw a line on shade? Because I can say some pretty shady stuff and some people will laugh and some people will cry. It depends on your personality. You know what I'm saying? Like, so who is going to be the barometer for if it's overkill unless you have very specificities? What is it going to happen? And then plus, where do you draw free speech? And then plus, what is entertainment? I mean, if you've let Ken make up lies and have Rent-A-Man for 10 years, then, and lie about being married, lie about being divorced, lie about being divorced, lie about being divorced, and then, I'm finally divorced. I mean, what? They're going to need a really detailed list of what it is they're talking about at this point, because they've accepted so much. And you're right. The other shows were already filmed. And then we do get them about a year later. That's usually what happens. We'll be looking at Real Housewives of Orange County in the summer, and they're at a Halloween party from last year. So they do stagger at least a good 6 months, you know? So yeah, it's interesting. And then why did you only implement it in October when the reality reckoning started at the beginning of last year? Why did you only start implementing the rules in time for when these other casts were getting ready to film? So the timing also, was it to get Kim caught up? Was it to get certain people caught up? Or is it,
maybe it did have something to do with their filming schedule overall. Maybe not Kenya specifically, because I don't think anybody predicted that Kenya would do this.
Right. Like
I do believe B. Scott when he says that no one knew about this. And you can even hear from the audio of the people that were there. They're like, is that what? What is happening? Yeah.
I can play some more, Mademoiselle. That is the tape I was listening to. That is the thing. Let me go forward a bit. Let me actually just go to transcripts and see where it says.
Yeah, I think what may have happened with Kenya, especially if there's no legal case for Revenge P, is that they just changed their minds. They just kind of saw where she was going, and they were like, okay, this is not the direction that we want the show to go in. So we're going to use this code of conduct to get rid of her and scrap these few scenes that we filmed with her, because I think they had only been filming for less than a month.
It was 3 weeks. That was their third week of filming.
Okay, yeah. So they were like, okay, we can just throw this away and just scrap her, because we weren't sure about her anyway, and we can sort of just use this to sort of save the season, because this is not the direction that we want the season to go in. That's what I honestly think happened.
Right.
I think they were on the fence from the beginning.
All I can say is, she could have saved herself all of this trouble if she would have just done a golden rule. A good golden rule check will get you through most days on whether or not Carmageddon is going to come back in with a ticket for you. So you do unto others as you would have them do unto you is the golden rule for those of you who don't know. In this place, I would say do unto others as you would have them do unto Brooklyn, Kenya. Okay? That should be her golden rule from now on. If you don't want it done to Brooklyn, then don't do it to Brit. If you don't want it done to Brooklyn, then don't do it to Brit. If you don't want it done to Brooklyn, then don't do it to Brit. That's a great golden rule, don't you think?
Exactly. I agree. And I don't know. And I think we'll never know, because they probably all have NDAs, what led up to this. Or maybe nothing really happened. Maybe she just didn't like this woman, and they had a few little words, and it was nothing that was a big deal. Because as a lot of people have said, it's not like something was posted about Kenya first. So whatever this woman could have done wasn't of that magnitude. And from my understanding, she wasn't even there when this happened. So what was the point? This whole thing just seems a little crazy, but we also have to remember how she treated Kim Fields. And I think a lot of people are kind of biased just because they don't like Portia, but what she did to Portia, you guys were just saying, that I'm sorry, that was wrong. She might as well have hit her. That was so aggressive and yelling at her with a bullhorn, and it was just the issue with
Kim,
Vivica,
Tanya. I mean, the list goes on, and I feel like a lot of people's similarities in their retells of Kenya when it comes to professionalism is where her professionalism stops. In her private life, people are like, oh my God, Kenya's so nice, Kenya's so this, and it seems like she's able to do in real life what is required at work, but she doesn't do. You see what I'm saying? Like, you're supposed to have morals at work so you don't get fired, but she seems
that Kenya, I'm sorry, you broke up a little bit. I'm sorry, you were still talking.
No, go ahead. I ramble.
Oh, no, I was saying, I think that Kenya is literally a beauty queen. So when you see her and she knows how to smooth and be nice to the fans and stuff, that's part of that beauty queen training. We don't know if that's her real personality. And a big part of me kind of believes that maybe the reason why she's not working in Hollywood the way that, let's say, someone like Garcelle is because of her personality. Because
Right.
usually when you have a foot in the door, you start to network, you meet other people. You might not be this big A-list celebrity, but you can be a working character actor. I mean, Sherry Shepherd is a great example of that. Like, she's, I think, probably around Kenya's age. She's just now hitting her peak with her talk show, but she's always
Mm-hmm.
consistently worked because she was able to network. She knows a lot of people in the industry and they like working with her and they will bring her in and just hire her for all sorts of little things. I
Yeah.
feel like Kenya had her foot in the door, she messed it up.
Right. Well, that's what happens when you don't read the room, when you think that you can get away, you've been getting away with stuff for so long and everything. That's what happens. That's just what happens. Here, I'm going to show you
Well,
guys. We're so awesome. Let me stop this share screen, start this share screen. I was able to find the whole handbook. Let's look at it together. Thanks,
yeah.
Mademoiselle and AAE for showing us this. Share the screen. And we were able to get the PDF file. It's only 1 to 13 pages. This isn't even a lot of stuff they have to do. Let's get this on here.
So that means they made it in plain English, probably, so that there's no misinterpretation. I would bet.
Yeah, see, and this is from so the first article I read you guys was from September 2023, and it was on Deadline, and it said that they were going to be implementing new rules. And this is a revised Respect in the Workplace from NBC that was revised 10/10/23, so almost a month after that Deadline article. And also in that article, it said specifically that it would be preparing additional guidelines for their third party people, including production companies. So all the people saying that, oh, if production knew they should be fired too, well, based off of this, they really should, because they got the notice before Kenya got the notice. Okay. But it doesn't excuse Kenya at all. She has a brain. She pays taxes. She's rearing a child. She's completely, totally accountable for the actions that she took. Completely, totally. You know what I'm saying? So that's not an excuse. So, okay, their core values at NBC is doing the right thing and treating people the right way. Living up to the standard requires everyone, coworkers, job applicants, clients, freelancers, contractors, business partners, be treated with dignity and respect. There are equal opportunity employment. They have reasonable accommodations. So that also hits on, I had said before that Nini's complaint about a hostile work environment could have been kicked up to the reasonable accommodation status because it had a bearing on her mental state, and I was like, if I was her lawyer, I would have went the RA, because even in apartments, which is where I come, I used to do like a lot of apartment management and stuff, and that's the way to get anything, you guys, in apartments, is do a reasonable accommodation request, and then they have to look at it from a point of view that you need this reasonably under. Yeah, so it's a good way to get your looked at quicker, is ask for a reasonable accommodation. Okay. So the company respects religious beliefs and practices. Here's their harassment guide. We kind of already had this read to us by the person over at Diva's house, but it tells us what the concept of harassment is. It's a discrimination. It includes conduct that creates a disrespectful, intimidating, hostile, degrading, offensive work environment. Oh my God, all the things Nini said. Oh my goodness, here we go again. This type of mistreatment, when directed at someone who is perceived to have, or who associates with someone having protected characteristics. So it may also be harassment. Okay, so who's uncovered? The company will not tolerate harassment of its employees or job applicants or their guests. Oh my God. So that means that eyebrows on Real Housewives of Potomac was supposed to have kept her hands to herself? What you say? Is that why they didn't change it till after they let Ashley and her five head full of lies get another season out of them? Hmm. Hmm. I wonder if the Potomac ladies are under this new contract. Well, I think are they currently filming? I think they might be under this new contract. When and where does it apply? It applies to conduct at work and work-related settings, on or off site, and inside or outside of regular work hours. Well, this is pretty general and widespread. Harassment is derogatory, ridiculing, jokes, slurs. Let's make this bigger for you guys. Jokes, slurs, reliance on expressions of stereotypes, nonverbal behavior, expressing or implied threats, destruction of. Oh my God. So that means Dr. Heavenly would have gotten in trouble for putting that mustache on the person's door this year. Use of physical stature or presence. Oh my God. Rob the builder would have got in trouble for towering over Ashley's that time. Oh my God. So they're really doing these things. Okay. Displaying or sharing offensive images. What? Do you think that explicit images of gobbling somebody's peen is sharing offensive images? I think it might fit in there. Oh my God. Exclude others or make them feel unwelcome. You mean the way that they be trying to ice people out on these shows is no longer acceptable? So that means everything that happened on Real Housewives of New Jersey is no longer acceptable. Okay, so this list is intended to give examples.
Do you think that show is coming back?
Real Housewives of Jersey?
New Jersey.
I think they will. I bet they will, because we've already established that the rules that they do have are only for some people. So we'll see when they decide to enact these rules, which is Candy's point. Candy's like, well,
this
they're
was
all
in October.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
but this was in October. I think that what has happened is that those shows were shot
right.
before
So Candy's point is, why
and
now?
they're already not having a reunion. So I'm wondering, they may not get rid of the whole show, they might just do a reboot, but I'm wondering if some of these people are going to be let go, but they just had already filmed the show. So what is the point of, you know what I mean? Like, we're just not going to bring them back. Versus Kenya's thing happened in the beginning of filming.
Right. She happened under the new contract.
Yeah.
So she should have read her new contract, period. I could go on and on about how they should grandfather it in to anything, but that they would go back too far. I feel like from now on is great. From now on. So that means let those other biddies in New Jersey have their little push off, and whatever already happened. But from now on, anybody who signed a contract after 10/10/2023 has to abide by these rules, period. And hey, she should have read. So the applicable standards. So it says these types of behavior can violate policy even if done in a joking manner, even if no intention of offending. Oh, Dr. Heavenly better be hella careful. On or off, that you can't talk about offensive or unwelcome comments about their appearance. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Okay. So that means on your show, on your YouTube channel, you can't say things and take it right back. Oh, she better be careful. Oh my God. I love Dr. Heavenly. She better be careful. Okay. So there's sexual harassment. Oh my God. So requesting sexual favors on the basis of employment conduct for the purpose of unreasonably interfering with an employee's work performance or creating an intimidating, hostile, or offensive work environment. Okay, so that's what those images of aggressively gobbling peen would have done. Unwelcome, romantic, unnecessary physical threats, demand, sharing. Okay, she did one, a bullet. shared, display explicit or sexually suggestive objects, images, or other materials anywhere in the workplace, including on a computer. And I would suggest also a poster board would be violation of this rule.
Mm-hmm.
And then going on a soliloquy talking about you Snapchat cat for $1,400. That's about her body. Comments about her body, Snapchatting her cat for $1,400. Oh, look, we can go right down here to bullying. Is prohibited. Bullying undermines the respectful work environment that the company values. Bullying occurs when an individual behaves in an intimidating, hostile, abusive manner towards another, regardless of whether it's based on that person's membership to a protected category. While bullying generally involves a pattern, what you say? They just used the word I used, you guys. Patterns is what it takes to establish most of the stuff. It can't, one-offs does not sully you. A pattern of established behavior sullies you, okay? Like harassment, bullying may be verbal, physical, environmental. It's important to distinguish bullying from workplace supervision, such as giving performance feedback, setting and adhering to business or other performance objectives, counseling, poor performance, blah, blah. So raising a concern, an individual who believes they have observed, heard, or been the subject of should report the concern to the company as soon as possible. Now, based off the reports, Cynthia Bailey did allegedly have a conversation with Ken saying that that was not cool. Maybe she did it because maybe Cynthia read this 13 pages about what the new expectations are. So she saw something and said something. She said you could contact the following people. HR, as seen in Appendix A, which we don't have, we need to get. Your immediate supervisor, department head, line production, unit manager, or other. Just a second. What do you think about that, Callie?
Well, I mean, I'm going to be honest. I think that to have a comfortable work environment, I agree with all of these rules. I'm just wondering if they will continue to be able to have these shows. Because a lot of the shenanigans that they do on these shows are you know what I mean? Like, they're very menacing. They're very, making fun of people's appearance and saying mean
all the
things,
time. Yep.
So I'm wondering what is going to happen with this, and if I think it's going to, I don't know what's happening. I think certain things are happening behind the scenes that we don't know, because I don't know if the plan is to maybe sort of direct the shows into a different direction where they're a little bit more lighthearted, or maybe they're just going to start phasing out these reality shows. I'm not.
Well,
really
can I
sure.
ask you, Callie, do you remember when the shows used to be all light shade? There was none of this. I mean, except when the time Ken claimed that Nene cut to the white meat. I thought that was a funny comment. I thought it was just a funny comment, and good old Ken was overextending her use of a word and saying that she cut me to the white meat. She called me a water buffalo. That's not what she said, and that was like a fallacy. She didn't call her a water buffalo. She said you're as big as a water buffalo because you're pregnant. It's two different things to me, and I thought it was a little funny. But
that was very Karen-ish of Kenya. Like, Kenya knew better than that. But my whole thing with Kenya is she's this person that I want to root for. And I will always give her flowers of being this Miss USA, and all of that stuff is a big deal. But my thing with Kenya, I do feel that we have gotten a lot of things from her that have not been the truth or have not been the exact truth. And I'm gonna be honest, I don't think she was ever really a good fit for this show. I think she was placed on this show. She did not even live in Atlanta. She was
Uh-huh.
not married. I don't think she was sincerely looking for a husband. I think that what happened was when she got on the show, she started to structure her life around trying to create stories for the show
Right. That part.
instead of just going out and
Instead of
just
just
living
being
in life
real.
and having an interesting life as a normal person.
Right.
I
Instead of
also
being
think
real,
that,
wait a second. Instead of being real on reality,
yeah.
she came in fake and stayed fake the whole and made up all the stuff the whole time. Look, you guys, real quick. You know how I've been saying this years, I'm triggered as a viewer. I wish there was somebody who I could tell. Look, you guys, take this number down because as it turns out, if you have a concern about witnessing bullying, there's this number to call and an email, you guys. Oh my gosh. I think we should use this number as viewers and this email as viewers and this website as viewers to
Mm-hmm.
get our point across about them using this thing to trigger us. But it kind of feels like they're using this set of guidelines to stop triggering me specifically. But take this number down. 877-405-4783. You can let NBC Universal know if you see this stuff, okay? Retaliation is prohibited. So now, after they retaliated on Nene for all these years, look, retaliation is prohibited now. Yay! No more blacklisting black women. Goody. Let's see what they say about what they've done in the past. It says retaliation is prohibited. And the company strictly prohibits retaliation against any individual who in good faith raises concern internally. Oh my God. So does that mean you're going to treat Nene right and meet with her in arbitration now? Oh my gosh. Even if it proves to be unfounded in the investigation is inclusive, they still can't retaliate? Yay! All the new people are going to be protected. The company also prohibits retaliation against an individual who requests an accommodation in good faith. Oh my God! So that time that she requested for her mental health well-being and they ignored her. Oh my gosh. So now they finally want to take care of everybody. Oh my gosh. I'm so excited. Oh, and then it says clearly that they will be investigating everything moving forward. So remember, good old Candy Coon, aka Candy Burris, said that there was no rules, and what's up this investigation? Well, it's because it's in the new contract that you didn't sign, Candy. That's why it's in the new contract that it says right here on page. What is this? Page 5 of 13. That if you do anything in here, they're going to do an investigation into violations of the policies. Oh my gosh. Say what? Look at, we got phone numbers, you guys. We got a direct number to the global person of human resources at in NBC. And it's in the Valley, 818. Oh my God. We got the direct number to Kate O'Brien, VP of Human Resources. Oh my gosh. You guys be sure, take a screenshot if you give an F, because if you get triggered again, then you can call HR on these people. Okay. So, and then it goes by states. It breaks it down even further by states of who to contact or what's tolerated. Look, does it have a New Jersey on here? No, that's interesting. Vermont, Rhode Island, Oregon. They don't have a show in Oregon, New York, Maine. What the heck?
Probably just
City of
NBC
Chicago.
offices.
Huh? Where's Rhode
That's
Island?
probably where the NBC offices are, or the production companies, maybe.
I wonder, is this the form that Britt Eady had to fill out for a complaint of reporting sexual harassment because it was images?
You know, it wouldn't surprise me as more than it wouldn't surprise me if more than Brittany reported this, because to be honest, showing people explicit images like that without their consent is actually a form of assault. So it wouldn't shock me if there were other people that were there that were shown those images that also reported her to human resources.
Oh, a bunch of lies being told here. Nene said she is having a buffalo. Oh, well, thanks, Ghana Girl Travels. Um, Look, my ears did not hear her call her a water buffalo. I heard her say, "You're as big as a water buffalo." Well, no, what did she say? What are you having, a water buffalo because you're as big as one or something like that? But it was still about her being as big as a water buffalo from being pregnant. Okay, Ghana Girl, thanks for coming. If the show will survive without Kenya, I would say twirl on. Bye. We don't need this, right? We're too old for all of this stuff. We are too old. That's what I'm saying. Broad. Yes, it's very broad, but here's the complaint form that Britt and probably her best friend Kelly, who was also present, they both could have filled this form out because in most work environments, if you are a witness to the sexual harassment along with the complainer who was sexually harassed, you're both victims. Did you know that? You having to witness a peen being sucked aggressively, you just became a victim of sexual harassment. Did you know that?
Yeah,
It's true.
that's what I was just saying. Like someone showing you, it's one thing if they say, I'm going to show this, and you can leave if you don't want to see or whatever, if they tell you, but if someone to just flash
Right.
a explicit image like that is actually harassment. In some states it's assault. So you
Right.
you just can't do this. I'm wondering, and I don't think we'll ever find out again because I think this will all be scrapped, and I'm sure their NDAs will not allow them to tell anyone what exactly led up to this and where this image came from. Because I keep
But
hearing
the NDA, we already
OnlyFans.
covered that. Callie, you missed the part. The NDAs do not cover crimes. And revenge porn is a misdemeanor in Georgia. So that does not covered under the NDA. Bam.
Well, so far it doesn't sound like there is a criminal case. I don't, not to say that there won't be one, but so far we haven't heard anything about there being a criminal case. So I'm not quite sure what's going on with the criminal aspect of this. One
Mm-hmm.
thing that I do wonder, if the image did come from OnlyFans, I don't know what their terms and services is. Which meaning is this: if I purchase an image from OnlyFans, that does not mean I can then take that image and put it on a poster.
Right. Exactly.
Typically, you can't do that with images. I just know this from me just working in design. You usually have to buy a special license that will allow you to use the image commercially or redistribute the image.
Right.
Some images you can't, they won't even sell you the license. So
That is
even
so
if,
true.
say for instance, this woman had an OnlyFans, she sold this specific image to a customer. That does not then mean that that image is just out there for people to repost it. I highly doubt if OnlyFans works that way. I have not read their terms and services, but they probably work like any other
Mm-hmm.
content place that sells content. You can't
Right.
just then take that content and do whatever you want to with it, which is probably why that image is not floating around as
Around
Deep Scott said.
exactly. Did you see the alleged image? I have it. I have it, and it
No.
does not look like it was from an OnlyFans. It looks like it was from a professional photo shoot. Maybe she was doing because she has on like a black cashmere sweater, a full pearl necklace, pearl earrings. Her hair is done, her makeup is done. She doesn't have on lingerie. She doesn't, and she's sitting in an office in front of like a wall that ends in ES. It looks like she was sitting in front of a Forbes magazine. Um, and then there's this huge, veiny, bolo looking peen off the side of the picture. But it's not like she was doing anything with it. That's the image that I saw. And so I'm not real sure.
Oh, I think that was an image that some fan made on Photoshop. illustrate what was
Oh,
happening.
okay. So
I
that
don't
wasn't
think
even
that that
real
was
life.
actually what was shown from my understanding, because that looks like it's a really bad, like someone took her headshot, which I've seen that
Yes,
headshot
it looked
before,
like a
and just sort of
headshot with
Photoshop that
yes,
together.
yes. And that's why I
Anything
didn't share it with anybody because I was
possible.
like, this is definitely not okay.
Yeah, anything is possible, but I was under the impression that someone online just sort of made that image just to kind of, as like, I guess as not really, I don't know, as a thumbnail or whatever, to kind of say like, okay, this is what they're saying happened. I don't think that
Oh,
that was
okay.
actually what was shown.
Right.
And from what B. Scott is saying, it doesn't sound like that is the image.
Right.
She's
And
being a
you mentioned,
little.
remember when it first, well, Michelle ATLian, shout out, was the first one to break the story live that day. And then that night, who was the media takeout who nobody wanted to believe? Hey, baby, love you. A media takeout came out and said that there was a video of Britt Eady aggressively, they used the word aggressively sucking peen, you guys. And I've been trying to figure out, how do you convey aggressive peen sucking in a still image unless it was blurry? You know what I mean? So I also heard that there were videos as well as poster boards. So I'm hearing double things, but we haven't seen any images. And Michelle didn't actually go in to the event. Therefore, she didn't have to sign the NDA. She was outside, and that's how we know for sure. Somebody came in here. Let's see. Oh, Andrea, thanks for being here. Yes, Britt Eady was in fact there. We saw on the live that Michelle ATLian did from the event that day when the people were leaving, saying that was a penis. Britt Eady was one of the people leaving, you guys. She
Oh,
has it
because
on
people
her
were
channel. Go to
saying that
Michelle
she wasn't
ATLian's.
there. Okay.
Go to Michelle ATLian's channel. She was there the night it happened and filmed on live Britt Eady leaving the event right after it was happening, and at the same commotion time when people are like, oh my God, that was a penis, that was a penis, walking past Michelle ATLian's car saying these things, you guys. So I'm not sure how Page Six got it wrong. I'm not sure how TMZ got it wrong, because my eyeballs saw in the live with Michelle, Britt Eady and Kelly at the event leaving. And if you listen to the soliloquy of slut shaming that was done by old Ken, she's addressing Britt directly. She's like, you did this, you did this, you did this. She doesn't say she did this, she did this,
Oh,
she did this. She's talking in first person to somebody right there. Listen to the tape
you're
again.
right. You're right. Yeah, you're right.
She was
I didn't even
definitely
think of
there.
that.
So I'm not sure who decided it might help Ken if she's not there, like it's not so bad. If just all these strangers see you gobbling peen,
Well,
you know?
Kenya's publicist or whoever, someone has been leaking fake information, and it's somebody, it's probably her publicist or her agent. It's somebody that has connections. Because I believe B.
Uh,
Scott. I don't believe Entertainment Tonight. I'm gonna just be honest. I think that they leaked that to
ooh,
them,
well, can
and it
somebody
wasn't true.
tell me? Do you know when B. Scott and Kenya fell out? Because I thought Kenya and B. Scott had a relationship where didn't she used to say nothing wrong about Kenya?
I thought they were cool with each other, if not
Yeah.
actual friends. I don't know if they had a falling out, or I'm wondering if it's just some of the dishonesty. Like, I wish I could actually interview B. Scott and ask, like, is it that you guys have something between you that happened, or is it that you caught Kenya in a whole bunch of lies? And you're like,
Right.
okay, I'm a blogger. This woman's giving me false information and putting me in jeopardy. I can't deal with her anymore. Like,
Mm,
you know what I mean? I wonder if it's that's what
right.
happened, or did something happen between them?
That is a
Because I'm
good
with you,
observation.
larger curves on this marriage. I think it's BS. This
Oh, you
marriage,
mean her marriage to
I'm
Mark?
sorry. I think it's BS. I think it's a scam that she ran and got away with. I think that them saying she's divorced right after she gets fired, I think that was released by a publicist. That story was planted.
Because
The
she couldn't keep up
timing
with
is
her
just too
lies, y'all.
perfect.
She couldn't keep up with her lies. Remember, she was in that live begging people to come to her salon after she got suspended, talking about, oh, we're not even divorced yet. I've been getting divorced longer than I was married. But she told that magazine in December 2023 that it was finalized. She got paid for an exclusive with People magazine. That's the only time that it's exclusive when they get paid. Correct me if I'm wrong, but exclusively reported that her thing was finalized in her story, and then come to find out in June 2024 she was lying.
Yeah, I mean, for it to come out, what is it, the day of or the day after or the day before? It was like within the same week that she gets fired. All of a sudden, she's divorced now.
Right.
And it's like, okay, a publicist planted this information.
Mm-hmm.
The courts don't just work like that, and it just has a serendipitous timing. This story was planted by a publicist. I'm at the point now where I'm kind of starting to believe there never was a marriage. Because going back to the Janet Jackson thing, remember when we didn't know she was married because you don't have to declare marriage? And we
Right.
found out because they had to actually declare the divorce in California. Well, she's
Right.
not in California.
Exactly.
So I'm starting to think that this might be the origins of her and B. Scott falling out. It could be these sorts of things.
Mm-hmm.
That it's just a lot of, she gives you a lot of false information and you can't trust
Right.
her.
Got her looking stupid, and like nobody's going to take her journalistic integrity serious if you're constantly regurgitating Ken's lies for her. You know, Palaver, I appreciate this. It's called the wobbler, huh? There's a move my husband does on me called the wobbler, meaning the acts that fall in that can be charged as a misdemeanor or felony at the discretion of. Ooh, yes, you're right. Okay, so I did read that in Georgia, as recently as July 2021, was it 2021? Yeah, as recently as July 2021, they had updated their laws for revenge porn and all that, and that it could be a misdemeanor or a felony depending. So you're saying that the wobbler part of it is that at the discretion of the prosecutor or judge, they can tip it to a misdemeanor or tip it to a felony at their discretion. This is bad because if she showed a poster board only, maybe that's a misdemeanor. But if you did a poster board and a soliloquy, that's a misdemeanor. But if you did a poster board, a soliloquy, and there was a video in the back of an aggressively peen being sucked, then you might get it tipped over to a felony because now you're doing three things at once. You know what I'm saying? So I appreciate a good wobbler. Andrea, absolutely. Michelle and Josh were there. Yeah, anybody, you go back, Michelle ATLN, tried and true. I asked her the other night, I was like, have you ever had to do a correction or recant? I'll leave it there. The answer is no. Maybe cast members sneak the information. Why would she trash her own event? Well, hey, when you're trashy, sometimes trash might happen.
Because it's not a real business. See, this is the thing with Kenya. I think that she created these businesses to have a story for the show. Like, I don't think that she perceived them, even though we may feel these could be real, actual, valuable businesses. I think that the only thing she cared about is creating storylines to stay on this show. So I don't think that she looked at it as like, okay, this is my spa. I don't want this here. No, she looked at it as like, okay, I want to make a splash on this show. I want to get all the attention on me, and I want to kind of sun this girl on this TV show because I'm all about the show. I don't care about these businesses because they're just storylines.
Right. And that's what Nene was saying. Nene said that she would be the demise of the show, the downfall of the show, if she was left to her own devices to continue with all this fakeness, it was going to ruin the show. And she was right. She saw the writing on the wall. She's like, this is not reality. Like, Nene bled for us. She read for us. She did a lot for us. And then it was all of a sudden this, it became, instead of being Real Housewives of Atlanta, it became Real Housewives of Atlanta Survivor Edition. And there became like these weird alliances, and they were trying to go after the freaking idol thing so they could vote the bitch off the island. And I'm like, whoa, wait. What happened to lunch? Whoa, wait. What happened to that charity event? Whoa, wait. What happened to the relationship that you have with your significant other that got you on a housewife show? Whoa, wait. You know what I'm saying? And it's just been, if you're not a housewife, it's an easy fix in a way. If you're not a housewife with a marriage certificate currently, then you can't be on these shows. How about that? That would fix a lot of things. But look, you guys, look real quick. You know how I was saying if we're triggered, we could call that 800 number earlier? I just realized that this Appendix C from the NBC Universal Handbook of what's acceptable for harassment and all that. Did you guys know that as a viewer, we can complain? I was right. It says right here, this form can be used by NBC employees, job applicants, and non-employees, including guests, vendors, freelancers, and contingent workers who wish to make a report of harassment, sexual harassment specifically. We can all fill this form out on Brit's behest. We can fill this form out for a number of things. Like, we need to just keep our ear to the ground and see what else is happening in these Bravo streets that they're doing, and see when we can use this form. And it's right here. I should put this link. Let me see. I'll put this. Can I copy this? How can I get this to here? Let me see. Where did I get this from? Just a second, you guys. Let me go get this damn form for you guys. I'm going to put it in the chat. Was it this thing?
Yeah, it wouldn't shock me if there does end up being a criminal case. They could be just, doing whatever the DA office does. I do believe B. Scott when he's saying that NBC Universal, it wasn't about that for them. It was more about their company code of conduct. That doesn't mean that there won't be a criminal case. There just isn't one that we are aware of as of now. In my opinion, even if this girl had an OnlyFans, this is still revenge P, because you don't then get to take that content that you purchased, or somebody else may have purchased it, she probably even purchased it herself, and then put it on a TV show for some nefarious purpose without the person who has the license to the content approving that. Well, you understand what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
It wouldn't matter if this came from OnlyFans. And I think that what worries me is that a lot of people, I feel, could potentially get themselves into trouble, because there are a lot of people who think that you can just do this. And what if this wasn't from OnlyFans? What if this was from some guy who just wanted to get back at Britney?
Right.
You know what I mean? That happens to know
The same
somebody
way.
that knows Kenya, that, you know what I mean? What if this isn't a public photo? What if this is just some bitter ex who passed his photo around and somehow it got to Kenya?
Right.
We don't know where this photo came
intent.
from.
I felt like the soliloquy definitely nailed it. That shows intent. This is not a one-off. You planned this. You wasted your time. You whined about, oh, they didn't even highlight my business, talking to Carlos King. So they let you have a highlight 3 weeks in. They're letting you have cameras and everything. And she bit off her nose to spite her face. And that's what she gets. Yep. Quad, I'm married to medicine. Kenya was talking all of that mess to her face. Felicia D, thanks for being in the house. Create divorced house. Yeah, let's have a divorced housewives. Or I almost was a housewife. How about that?
But even then, Kenya wouldn't have Kenya wouldn't have been on that show. Kenya wasn't like a Sutton where she came on the show and she had recently gone through or was going through or settling divorce. Kenya
Okay.
had never been married. Like Kenya, she had no business on the show. Like she wasn't an Atlanta personality. She didn't really hang out with any of these people. She wasn't wealthy. She wasn't married or going through a divorce or engaged.
Yeah, she
It
was
was it was
the
just a
former
stunt
Miss
casting.
State.
Yeah, it was a stunt casting.
Yeah. And it's interesting because they let that happen for Real Housewives of Atlanta to include Kenya on that show. She was a transplant, basically. That's what Californians, that's what we call people who like move to our communities in California and put up horizontal fences and want coffee everywhere. We call them transplants. So
Mm-hmm.
so she was basically a transplant to Atlanta, to the scene. She was staying in that place with the white refrigerator. She wasn't even part of anything there. She wasn't established or didn't even have an address. And they let her be included. I heard in New Jersey, there was a point when Remy Ma was going to be on New York, but she lived in New Jersey and they wouldn't let her because she didn't live in the same state, but they were willing to go through all of that to let Ken be on there. It was just weird. It was just weird. From Yo Gotti, how Kim KM she Snapchat. Yeah, from Yo Gotti, how did Kenya Moore know she Snapchatted him? Right? How does she know she got that thing Snapchatted for $1,400, no less?
Yeah,
Quad is
how would anyone know
was
that
previously married.
unless Brittany was telling people that?
Mhm.
I'm not sure. Yeah,
I feel like Quad got it passed, and I still could. Uh, okay, so at least we know Quad was legally married. Maybe that should be the qualifier. So Ken has never been married legally that we know of. That's my point. Nobody believes she was married, and nobody believes she's divorced because you would have had to been married to get divorced. Whereas Quad was definitely married, definitely got divorced. Both happened on for the show, and so she technically was literally married to medicine, so she fit the protocol. Whereas Ken, has Ken ever been married? I mean, she said
I
she was
don't
married
believe
to
she
Mark,
has.
but I don't think she has. I feel like he was.
But
Everybody
even
alleges
still, Mark came how many years after she had been on that show? And Mark
exactly.
lived in a whole other state. Mark
Yeah,
lived like 1,500 miles away, which was my first clue that something did not add up with this story. I don't
look,
understand how you're on the Real Housewives of Atlanta. You're not from New York, but somehow you've married this man in New York that we've never heard of before. Like the
mhm,
whole thing was just so bizarre, and I think that's why she got
very
cut that season because they felt she was lying then.
right.
But because she has this
Hi,
fan
Allie.
base, they decided to bring her back.
Here, I'm gonna redrop it. My computer was a little sticky, and I might have. Oh, I deleted the W. Sorry. Here's the new link. Glad you can make it, Andrea, Allie, Felicia D, Moonchild. Let's see. They brought a single woman and sat her in the middle of housemen, right? Yes, legally married, deciding factor. I agree. No, she was pulling stunts in the media for years. I remember she was lying saying she got married and had her son years ago. And there's a new link for you, Allie, if you're still in the house. I'd love to hear from you. Uh, Now, I
Yeah,
did hear this. Okay. So I heard from another content creator who I love in these streets. However, I'm not sure. I've only heard it there. I only heard at this other content creator's house that Britt allegedly dated Mark, and that's why Ken went nuclear at her re grand opening and bit off her nose to spite her face, was because allegedly Britt Eady and Mark Daly, is that his last name? Know each
hmm
other romantically, let's say. The only place I heard that was on one channel in these YouTube streets. I haven't heard it since. And I did go straight to Michelle Alien's house and ask. I was like, did you hear this? Because she knows a lot of stuff that happens. And she doesn't have any of that information as on the finger on the pulse of Atlanta. She doesn't have that for information, but I feel like
Yeah,
it's great.
is Brittany from New York? Does anybody know?
Hey, Callie. I think we can hear you.
You got I think you have your browser open.
Yeah, no, I just muted her until she shuts her browser off real quick. Love Allie from Miami. Now, look, Britt was in Miami for a minute with old Rick Ross. Maybe Allie from Miami can tell us if she's known down in the streets as being a New Yorker. Let's see. Okay.
Yeah, because I'm just trying to understand how is it, and I don't know anything about Brittany's background. Maybe she's from New York. But the thing about Mark that was always a red flag to me is the fact that this man lives in New York and he doesn't seem to have any real connections to Atlanta. It's not like he had another restaurant in Atlanta or something like that. Like it was just this random man from New York. And I'm like, well, Kenya, how do you know this man in New York enough to marry him? Like it was just very strange.
Yeah. Palaver, you have a great point. That goes back to the deciding factor of being legally married. You're right. Candy was not legally married. She came on the show hella hot, but she was engaged. Wasn't she engaged to the guy who ended up getting pow-pow?
Yeah, Candy was engaged. And they usually always have, even going back to the first season of OC, they had an engaged couple. They usually always have a woman who is recently divorced or divorcing, someone who's engaged. They may or may not have a single friend of, but it's not just this person that seems to sort of be constructing a life in a brand new city just so they can be on the show.
Yeah.
Which is
Allie, come back.
what was happening in Kenya.
Right. But for KKK Kim, now that was a whole whoress. That was a whoress.
Well, she was a side.
You know what a whoress is, right?
Yeah.
A whoress is a whore, basically. And I don't deal in whores, but you break it up into syllables and you have a whoress. So this whoress was dating a married man and given a platform to do that within a married show. I felt like that was a bad setup. Like, why are you promoting marriage and whoress in the same show? She should have never been on the show.
Is she the only one in the history of Housewives? Is she the only mistress that's ever been on Housewives?
Well, now we have Dolo. We have Dolo over in New Jersey right now, who's dating that married man.
Oh, okay. Because I'm like, have we ever had another? Because I just thought it would be one thing if this was a running theme where we would have mistresses or people that were in polyamorous relationships or something like that. But it seemed like it was just Kim. And I never thought about that before.
Yeah, Kim was the only one. And also Kim was the only initial crossover on any of the things. And I always wondered why we didn't need her. We didn't need her on our show in Atlanta. They didn't need us in Beverly Hills. They didn't need us in OC. They didn't need us in New York. We didn't need her in Atlanta. How about that? How about that? And actually,
Nene, they told
Nene did it. Nene did that to herself at this point.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, Nene did that to herself.
Nene, they told her that they were afraid that people wouldn't watch the show if it was just all black women.
Yeah, I'm positive they tried to sell her that book of lies. They love watching everything they do. Our show would have definitely still got watched. They love.
Yeah, I don't think anybody cared if Kim was there or not, to be honest with you. They could have just as well had some black lady on there that had some mysterious rich boyfriend, and they could have had Marlo. Because I think Marlo's a mistress, y'all. I really do. I'm not trying to besmirch that woman's name, but I just feel like, yeah, you could have made some investments. It's not impossible. But I kind of just think you got a rich boyfriend, you know.
Right. Allie from Miami, what are your thoughts? Are you here? Can I hear you?
Can you hear me?
Yes. Happy
Good, good.
Friday. What's
Happy
good?
Friday. I know it's been a long time.
I know too
Um,
much.
I know. My first thought is I do not feel sorry for Kenya. I do not feel sorry for Candy. I do not feel sorry for any of those ladies because going back to the end of season 12, especially all of season 12, the way how they pretty much were trying to gang up on Nene, trying to ice her out the show, force her to do this apology tour that she didn't need to do. I think even one of them made a nasty comment about how, you know, Nene going through a lot being a caregiver for Greg, being sick, and one of them said like, "Well, Greg's the one had cancer, not you." Not
Yes.
only dismissing the fact that as a caregiver, it's really stressful to see a person you love suffering in pain and have to go through that day and night. But I digress. And then now, when Nene left the show, try to leave the show gracefully, because I remember the original YouTube video she put out. She left gracefully. She said her goodbyes. Andy
Mm-hmm.
Cohen decides to poke the bear on his flop of a show, What's Happening Live, by bringing in Messy. We love Wendy, but sometimes Wendy's way too much messy, and try to make fun of her.
Right.
Okay. We want to forget the fact that Andy Cohen made that tweet with the hashtag monkey with the weave on when Nene
Oh
left.
yeah.
I
I
think
Oh
forgot.
my gosh.
everybody keeps wondering how Andy is racist when he's racist. When Nene left, he said hashtag monkey with the wig on, and not enough people went back and say, "Yo, this is not okay,"
Right.
But then when Candy left, it's just nothing but praise and glory. You would have thought he was
Exactly.
writing new gospel.
Well, that's because she was a
Pardon?
grateful Negro. She would have been in the magical book of Negroes.
And the only reason why is because she went in and betrayed everybody. Because again, you made a good point when Nene was trying to rally the ladies to get something for everybody. Candy, I have to say allegedly too, I don't want to get you in trouble, went behind everybody's back. And it was
Portia
kind
said
of,
it was true.
it was
Portia,
kind of,
Portia
yeah,
Williams said it was confirmed it.
yes.
Portia
And I'm glad
Williams.
he mentioned that because Portia went on that live and said the was Lou. In fact, that Portia said she went to an executive of NBC, an executive of planning. I remember. And the reason why I remember, because at that time it was a black woman that they got for that position, and Candy was able to meet her.
Right.
It was during that whole, 2020 incident. And when Nene went with the lawsuit, every one of those ladies abandoned Nene. And some of them went as far as saying, "Oh, we didn't feel anything racist. We don't have a bad work environment." Basically making Nene a liar. And here it is now, full circle. Once Bravo, NBC, and the production company was done with these ladies, they're gone. Cynthia was the first one to be gone. Soon as all they needed her to discount Nene, she was
Yeah.
out the next season. Then they
And
just kind of trickle on with Candy. Soon as they feel like, okay, Candy, you're not making us no more money, bye bye to you too. And even in that Carlos King interview, with Kenya already was saying she was feeling some kind of way with production and the executive. She wasn't feeling secure in her position. I remember that part, and she felt like she probably should leave in so many words. So that's why when she finally left, I'm not surprised. That like you already said in so many words, they didn't want you, and you felt like you didn't even want to be there or should be there. So I don't. Why now you want to boohoo and whine and cry because they treated you badly? Kenya, you sat down there and you put out a nasty, expensive content of a brand new co-worker. This lady, we don't know this lady from a grain of salt. And then you put that thing out for everybody to see. And we're supposed to feel sorry for you because,
you guys see my comment in the private
yeah,
comments?
yeah. For
Can you for
one,
a second?
yeah, I'm just
Okay.
I can't believe it. Like you being held accountable, which I get it's not fair because again, NBC is holding some people accountable, not everybody, and that's a problem I have. But I don't feel sorry for Kenya. I don't, because when you could have stuck up for Nene, you decided not to, and now you're in this situation.
was talking yesterday, I was like, she made fun of Nene. And all I can say right now, while she's trying to get all this sympathy and and I'm a working mother and I'm a senior, rewind the tape, bitch. What did you tell Nene when she was clawing on for dear life? When they were literally treating her like that after her husband had died. What the F did you say to Nene and about Nene's situation, Ken? What did you say that you think that you deserve a modium of compassion, except for we should all have compassion for each other no matter what, because that shows our hot heart, not theirs, and all of that. But all I want her to do right now is rewind the tape. That's as much compassion as I can have for her right now until she does and says something that does right by the things that she's done wrong against other people. That's just where I am with Ken at this point. Rewind the tape. They were phasing her out. They're phased you out. Okay. Oh, here, I'm redropping the link.
And one thing I want to add on too, with Candy, that one right there never makes sense because I understand with the whole Dungeon Gate thing. The one thing I never understood about it is like you have so much energy for Phaedra, but then you want to side with Portia who put it on television. Now here you are again siding with Kenya who did something even in my opinion worse. You know, all what said was just words. No one could prove it. But Kenya actually took pictures, undeniable pictures. And you have the audacity to say, I stand for it. So you expect us for the last how many years you're supposed to be on your side and justify why we didn't have Phaedra back on the show. We had to be on your side while you have the right not to be around her. But then you think it's okay for you to stand by Kenya. I need you to be consistent. I need you to be consistent. I need you to be consistent. I mean, I don't know why she's making a big deal because I'm going to turn it back to the past. Remember when her old band group went and lied to her about the producers back in the days, and she was mad, but she became unmad with them as soon as money was on the table.
Right.
She didn't talk to those ladies for how many decades, but as soon as money came on the table, I could work it out. So right. What is it? I'm pretty sure you could have worked it out with Phaedra if they gave you enough money. Let's call it facts.
Candy never makes sense. She doesn't. Felicia D. OMG. Thank you for this super chat. How can I get it to come back up here? Where'd it go? There it is. Thanks for the super chat. This chat and panel is giving me life while working. Wow. Thank you. No, thank you. We're just up here talking about the things that we talk about because we want to know what Kim was thinking. Everybody was like, oh, she's too smart to do this. She would never da-da-da-da. And then come to find out that NBC Universal had enhanced their code of conduct as recently as October 2023. And now that they're filming now in 2024, all of the people filming in 2024 are under this new contract that includes very specific things that include explicit imagery of your castmates along with soliloquies and shaming. So look, she broke a number of rules. I put this link in the chat, you guys. Did you see this? So if you want to check this out yourself, this HTTPS, where'd it go? I don't know if it lights up when I put it in there, but oh yeah, here it is. So this thing right here, this is where the actual NBC Universal policy is that we read that was just updated in October 2023. So you guys can go over and look at that yourselves. And look, we're getting to it this morning, Felicia. So thank you so much for your support. I love you. I love you. Honestly, Candy will leave Todd for... She said, we'll leave Todd for Portia. She really is that territorial. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. I think she does. I feel like she actually is. Well, didn't she come out as bi also? I don't know. Candy came out as bi. I don't know how you find out that you're bi once you finally get married. Like, I'm not sure how that happened. I'm not sure why she didn't know. Why didn't she say she was bi the whole time? Why did Candy only discover her bi-ness after she got married? It's interesting to me. Because they were in the dungeon and she found out? I'm not sure. Yes. Candy was always jealous of Portia and Phaedra's relationship with Nene. Yup. Candy will turn single white female on somebody when it comes to, yes. She was always obsessed with Nene. To me, the way she came in that first time talking to Nene, she didn't have to respond back to Nene that way. She could have played it a different way. But she was coming into Nene's arena. And but she was coming in with her own stardom. And I felt like she's always in such competition that she wanted to be the HBIC immediately on a show that Nene was HBIC on. And it just doesn't work that way. It just does, especially when you can't even talk right without crying.
I mean, if they really wanted to have the show around her, they could have just picked Candy Burris from season 1. She's been in Atlanta and know enough people her whole life. They went to Nene for a reason. Why did they wait to season 2 to say, hey, you know what? The Jon Snow's not here. Can you come and take her spot?
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Why didn't it start with Candy? Oh, and then I'm going to just say this. If she really wanted to be the center nucleus, why you never added any of your other friends and celebrity friends to be on the show as friend of the show?
Right.
You could have changed the conundrum to your side, but you wanted to take something from me, and that doesn't make sense.
Wow. Yeah, it doesn't make sense. They could have done great things together. It's interesting that we already said that Kenya doesn't see Candy as that type of competition. That's why they can get along. But Candy also doesn't see Kenya as a certain kind of competition because she was willing to be number 2, co-number 2 with Kenya for all these years since Nene left, and they got along great as long as neither one was over the other one. I don't know. I did not hear about. I didn't see that Caroline Brooks went after Talene. I did hear about it. I know that they are not getting along, and I said in the very first recap of Dubai for the second season that we did here on Larger Curves a couple weeks ago, that unfortunately it appears that Talene and Brooks will be experiencing the reality television curse of it ruining your closest relationships. So she brought, you know how it happens on reality TV. You bring somebody on, that person turns against you, or you turn against them for a storyline, and then you guys are not friends anymore. And then one of you is off the show, and the other one's going to be a bitter Betty because that's probably the person that got brought on the show. So in this case, we've already seen Talene try to wear Stanberry as an ass helmet, a nice blonde, blue-eyed ass helmet. And she doesn't care that Brooks brought her on the show and has her back against the blue-eyed devil. She doesn't care. She doesn't care that Brooks was trying to help her friend's reputation. Brooks knows Stanberry very well. So she knew that Stanberry's intention about Twatgate was malicious. So she had her friend Talene's back, and Talene is turning on that loyalty for an ass helmet named Stanberry, and it's not going to end well. And Brooks is upset about it, and rightfully so, in my opinion. Rightfully so. You don't look. I feel like loyalty is all you got on these shows. Don't let these shows ruin your relationships. If you have a real relationship for 10 years, you should still have a real relationship after one season of filming with that bitch. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. Okay. Yes. So, look, no lie. Maybe that's why she got mad at Feifei. You're right. Maybe she was mad at Phaedra because she was frick to the frack, and Candy wasn't in on that. And so she got her panties in a bunch and decided to store Apollo's things and then mention it. And now you're mad at and now you're mad at Phaedra because you heard that she said that. Yeah, you guys call in me and Allie, you're up here, and we welcome all you guys to come on up and give your opinion. We are at 2 hours, though. We're going to be closing this up in a minute. Candy got mad at Phaedra because she's jealous of Nene supporting Phaedra during the Apollo situation. Rewatch the season. Portia even said that Phaedra needed her more. Candy got so mad. Also, at the lunch that Candy had with Phaedra, Candy did not eat and was fuming mad at Nene. And you know, anytime Candy not eating something wrong, okay? They, you know who, always find one of us to turn against our kin. I keep on referring to Kendrick Lamar is a perfect song, They Not Like Us, in many situations, in that specific verse about how the people got the townsmen to turn against the other people so that they can make them richer. And you're not a colleague, you're a fucking colonizer, Candy Burris. Yeah, that's what happened. That's what happened. The comments, the truth. No one wants to admit it. Yep. AAE, I'm a Real Housewives season 1 watching. Recall you saying absolutely correct. Yeah, we were pretty much, I feel like a lot of us melanated goddesses are season 1 Atlanta watchers, because we had not seen a show like that about so many of us in one room that they wasn't trying to blow it up or make it a Lake Lanier. Shit. Of course we were all watching from season 1. We were like, oh, finally, something that looks like us that we can bathe in, instead of making ourselves be placated with these others that have no representation. We were all in on the idea, even with our little white friend, because most Black people do have a very good white friend.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have one Black friend. We got very good white friends. You know what? And with us, even sometimes.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
And that's why when we seen how the show is turning versus how it was season 1, and even somewhat season 2, 3, and 4, and see how it is now, it's like, no, we did not sign up for this. We were signing up for seeing elite Black women who has a career, who has a family. You know, yes, we could have fun. Yes, we could shade. But at the same time, there was an aesthetics about them. They didn't, and it was watchable. I missed the glitz, the glam, the funny shade, the luxurious trips. That's what we wanted to see. And now we've gone down to doing revenge porn. We've gone down to having this so-called beauty shop, which I don't think is open.
And it's only open during filming. Everybody already knows. That's why she could have a re-grand opening 8 seasons already. It's because the only time the shit is open is during the season.
And here's the funny thing. I remember she was on Heavenly's live. You know, Heavenly loves to do her lives, and she loves to help Black women promote their business. And
wait a second. I'm sorry, Allie. Mademoiselle, send it to me in Instagram. And if you put it up, then if Bianca can repost it, then it might make it smashable for people to sign the petition. But I think I have it blocked for non-moderators to add any links. So please, we would love to sign a petition to get Wendy Williams freed, because she had $55 million before that conservator showed up at her door. And now her son is homeless, she homeless, the bills aren't paid. And where is Wendy Williams? Somebody free Wendy Williams. And AAE, if you're still in the house, you're getting many requests to come back up to the panel, girl. You have a following. AAE, call in again, my lady. Felicia said, yes, AAE, call back. We love your perspective. Okay. So if you would love to accommodate the people, we'll stay up for some more. Now go ahead, Allie. I'm sorry.
So, that I almost lost my thought, but to me, that's what I think what Housewives of Atlanta mean to us. We wanted to see elite Black women with the beautiful Black families, hopefully married to handsome Black men, being accomplished, not just ghetto mess, Right. But at the same time, when I saw Heavenly's live with Kenya on it, Heavenly was trying to get her to say the address of the salon, and she said. And Kenya was like, oh, no, it's inside the perimeter. And I'm like, wait a minute, I'm here in Atlanta. Yeah. Inside the perimeter is huge. Where is your salon? What is the address? Is it on Peachtree? Is it on Ponds? I need an address. And it seems so strange that someone's trying to help you who has a platform too, trying to get your business out there, and then you're being secretive about where it is.
Right.
What business person does that? Every business person be like, here I am. This is my pop-up shop. This is my place. This is my number. This is my email. This is my address. They cannot help but make people know where they are and how to get connected. And Kenya's like, well, it's in the perimeter.
Right, exactly.
And if you knew, I mean, for people who's outside of Atlanta, the perimeter is not like a block. It is a huge highway circle that covers the whole city of Atlanta, basically.
Yeah.
So where's the shop? Is it in Buckhead? I don't know. Is it in Sandy Springs? I don't know. And I'm here in Atlanta and I don't know.
Well, because she doesn't really want anybody to come. Maybe she's just using it as a tax write-off for losses so that she can have as much money the other way. You know, there are lots of people who love to fail so they can have the tax write-off. So I'm not sure how many years they'll let that happen, but yeah.
And I don't doubt that. That makes so much sense because, again, if you are a business person and you want your business to succeed, especially a brick and mortar shop where you need people to come in, you don't hide something as basic as the address for them to go, unless
Right.
you just want to have a persona that I do have a place. So that way, again, when tax time come, oh, well, I put this much money and rent for this place, but I didn't make any money. Well, of course you didn't make any money, Ken, because no one was able to go. No one's able to make an
Find
appointment.
it. Right. Or they get their appointment canceled because also, listen, you're right. You hit the nail on the head. I wish I had a hammer and a nail sound because also how we know she doesn't want anybody at her place is because she calls paying customers stalkers. She says that paying customers harass her because they're looking for her business. That tells me you don't want no business if you're going to call the customer who's always right a stalker and a harasser.
Why are you saying no to money? Who says no to money?
People who
Unless
don't
it's a
want it.
fraud. Unless it's fraud. Allegedly. It's my opinion, not of larger curves, but it just doesn't make any sense.
Chambly. She's in Chambly. How far is Chambly outside of Atlanta? That's what I need to know.
Family?
From how far is Chambly from the perimeter?
Oh, wait, Chambly is in the perimeter. It's on the east side of the perimeter.
So
it's just about it's probably somewhere near it's near like I-85 as if you're going to go out of the perimeter. So that's kind of where it is.
So from downtown Atlanta, how far is Chambly?
I will say 20 minutes, a 20-minute drive.
Oh, that's
with
not
traffic.
bad.
Yeah, and you have to think it's Atlanta traffic. So you could go from Chambly to Atlanta in 20 minutes, 30 with bad Atlanta traffic.
Oh, that's not bad at all. She should just say the word. She should tell the truth then. But she's trying to make us think her place is in Atlanta, and it's not.
I mean, everybody call everything in Atlanta. I mean, because I think at one point Chambly is very close to Atlanta, but it's not in downtown Atlanta. And I'm going to be real. No, unless you got that money to be in downtown Atlanta, you don't really want to. Downtown Atlanta business is catered to downtown Atlanta. If you're just doing something like a hair shop, I wouldn't do it in downtown Atlanta. That's way too much risk. You want to kind of be out more, kind of that suburban, urban area where it's easy for people to come in and out.
Right.
Because here in Atlanta, we don't want to go downtown. We don't want to go to Midtown. We don't want to go to Buckhead. We avoid downtown like the plague.
You sound like me when I lived in LA. I did not want to go downtown LA. I was trying to stay away from anything where more than 3 things that end in a 10 converge. We're not going there. Like, because down here in LA, our freeways end with 10. I know on the East Coast,
and parking is terrible, is nowhere. So having it there, Chambly, and mind you, Chambly is a really nice area. So it's not like boohoo. I mean, I think Chambly looks most nicer than downtown Atlanta. Basically.
Well, it looks like because we also know that her hair care spa is in it's a mixed use area. So there's apartments on top and businesses on the bottom, commercial space on the bottom.
Yes.
And So even the nail salon owner who owns a business and operates it because it's open all the time, they told Michelle Atalian, oh, she never opened. She never opened. When she
Yeah.
went live, she never opened. That's what they told her. And so it looks like a really nice apartment building though. So why is she like so embarrassed or whatever? It
Yeah.
feels like she's embarrassed
And
almost.
like I said, Sammy is nowhere near together. It's a nice area. You guys, it's not like Buckhead money, but it's a nice area in that suburban part of my of Atlanta. It's still got enough city life to it,
Yeah.
but and it's kind of more upscale. I would say definitely middle class, a really nice middle class, and you could have some really nice shops. It's
Mhm.
not like, oh, I'm somewhere, down
Right.
there. I don't have to worry about my car. It's a nice area, but uh, I don't my like I said, the reason why she's hiding because she doesn't have a business. It's just a building she's renting, so that way when she doesn't show any income, she could say I have losses from buying the equipment,
Yeah.
having losses from the rent, having losses for all this product,
Mhm.
and then that
Oh,
here's thing.
don't forget real quick, Allie, sorry for the cutoff, but she built that second floor right off for that too.
Yeah.
So she
And
just dumped all this money into it. And now, yeah,
And then, mind you, the thing they did with the hair spa with that hair thing, that is like, I don't know what woman wouldn't want to do that. Because if you go on TikTok, that's the whole hair spa massage thing. That is like one of the biggest trends right now.
yeah,
People will pay good money to have that done. And you do it specifically for black hair. Can we really digest for that? You're doing it with people that understand black hair.
right.
We all know that the black hair industry is a multi-billion-dollar industry. Kenya should be boohoo in money at this point. Why are you
Right.
struggling, Kenya? You shouldn't even worry about being fired from housewife. If you're doing hair care and hair spa, and black women love their hair, we love our hair.
No,
We
yeah,
cherish our hair. We'll put money to our hair. Even if you're doing a relax, a wig, a weave, natural. We love our hair because our hair is our crown as
mhm,
queens. And you
mhm.
mean to tell me you can't make any money?
That well, Palaver says Google says Chamblee to ATL is 13.4 miles, 45 minutes without traffic. By the way, she could get clients from that beautiful residential building upstairs, but she's never open because I bet that nail technician dude, all his clients are probably upstairs.
You got to be open to make money.
Yeah,
And then, like I said, Heavily trying to help her out. And she's so secretive and Heavily, like, where are you? Are you at Perimeter Mall? Are you here? I mean, she's trying to get it. If you go back to that life, she's trying to get it out of Kenya
uh-huh.
where her shop is. Why is someone else is trying to get you to tell them about the shop? Heavily should be like, okay, now you're doing too much, Kenya. This is my life. I don't need you to overtake,
Right,
she shouldn't have to be begging for her.
right.
Crazy. But then
And
now when she wants to be like boohoo whining and crying that she got herself fired or
mhm,
she quit, whatever she want to call it today.
mhm. Well, and then that's the thing. If you didn't get fired, then why are you suing? Why are all these reports that she's suing somebody?
Yes, someone who quit don't sue because you left voluntarily.
Right. Mm-mm.
That's what everybody keeps forgetting. She didn't get fired, but there's a lawsuit. Make that make sense. I mean, I guess she wants to spend. I guess she wanted to give a new graduate lawyer some money. I guess she's helping the community that way.
Heavenly tried and tried because Heavenly is all about her coins, much like her Scorpio sister Melody Shari Rogers gets to the bag, knows all the ways to the bag, and was trying to help old girl get to the bag and you saw that was the first time we ever saw Ken in Dr. Heavenly's office was the day she had time. She had all the time in the world on her permanent suspension. Candy had tags and has 2 restaurants, and Candy stays eating, and her restaurant is busy and popping. But Kenya's salon is struggling.
And mind you, we drag candy restaurants to fill, but at
Yeah,
least we know where it is.
it's interesting because I thought it was very interesting that Candy was in that interview with that the first time that she said when she was trying to go in for Ken and protect her, and the way that DJ led into, aren't you glad that you're not here this season because they're doing pow pows and everything. I'm like, well, that's where they left off last season, was at Candy's restaurant and pow pows. What you mean, aren't you glad you're not here this season? So you aren't affiliated with the pow pows again, Candy? Please. That's not the first time Pow Pow's been on here. Ever since Candy been around, actually, is Pow Pow's, because her first fiance got Pow Pow'd. And then all her restaurants got Pow Pow'd. Yeah, but they're all open and overpriced. Does she still charge for ice in your water? I heard that she charges for ice in your water. I heard that she charged for a fork. I heard that she only puts a spoon on the table, and if you want any other utensils, you get charged or something. I don't know. I'm not in Atlanta, but I heard that they really are trying to get all the pennies from the people at her restaurants. Allegedly. I'm not sure. Candy, isn't Candy her friend allegedly? And that's what I'm saying. If Candy is such the businesswoman, why didn't she help Sheree? Why didn't she help Ken? Why doesn't she help the people? I don't know. But ladies and gentlemen, thank you for coming to Larger Curves today. I hope you had fun. We went live. Actually, this is 2 hours and 20 minutes, and we were live before this for a good hour. So I'm going to go ahead and end it here. I got things to do. My family's coming over. It's happily heavenly birthday to Papa Curves today. Rest in heaven. His birthday would have been today. So isn't God good? Because my entire family's on the way over here, and we are going to have a slumber party and celebrate Bobbin. That's what we used to call him, because his name was Robert, and the kids. So my mom's on her way, my sister's on her way, my nephews and everybody. So we're going to have a big old slumber party and a Papa Curves remembrance party. So wish me luck. I have some things to prepare for, but I thank you all, Curvies, for taking your time coming through. I thank you, Felicia, for the super chat, the support. I thank you. Let me see, does somebody just come in here? Life Tour AAE just come on. Okay, right on. Come back up, AA. Come back up, AA. Yeah, happy heavenly birthday, Papa Curves. I love him. I miss him so much, you guys. Oh, I miss him so much. And it's not getting easier. Imagine that. It's only been 6 months, and it's not a fucking bit easier. I miss my daddy, y'all. I miss my daddy. But I'm a big girl. Literally and literally. So I'm gonna get it together. But from what I understand, this grieving process is not gonna end. This is just the beginning. And Bianca, yes, Felicia said it best. You did a great job. Thanks for being my excellent mod. I love you. And me and Bianca actually, we connected here in the YouTube streets real quick. And we've never met each other, obviously. She's in one coast, I'm on another. But we just love each other. And as it turns out, we're kind of similar. We both have the same type of career in our background. So it's a real, true sistership happening over here. And I thank you and I appreciate you, Bianca, for being in the house. Yes. Voice twin, why don't you close us?
This was a great live. Have a wonderful, wonderful time with your family, Voice Twin. The live was fantastic. This live was so great. I really adore your lives. And I hope everyone has a wonderful weekend. And who knows what's about to happen this weekend? 2024, every week there's something else. And we are just about to enter July. There's something else. It has not stopped 2024. And this really is the year for revelation.
Yeah.
And just like we found out yesterday with the debate, clearly there are some candidates, the truth has not been completely told to all voting Americans. Last night was quite a revelation for all of us.
Right. That's so true. Yeah, we're voice twins, you guys. We're voice twins. We love each other. See, and that's another thing that we did here in the YouTube streets. I would have never met AAE. Had it not been
Everyone was telling me that I sound just like you.
that is
Everyone.
hilarious.
And then there was that one time you were on the same line. And then everybody realized, okay, we are not the same person.
Right? That was a good day.
But you are
Because
from
you're right.
California, and I have heard for years that California women are more in my range, my vibe. And I did work there, and and I actually had a very good work relationship with a Black woman when I was working in the what's that, the Woodlands,
Yes.
and it was a very good experience. And she actually told me that her family moved to Houston. Within 2 months, they were right back in California.
There's a vibe in
There
California.
is a vibe.
There
in
is definitely a vibe here. I mean, I think about
California, is.
moving other places, obviously for cost, and I just keep thinking about the other stuff that comes along with free, and it's not worth it. It's just not worth it to my vibe, you know. I'm just like, I'm built for everywhere, and I choose to stay here
It's a
because
great energy in California.
yeah,
You have the ocean, which is actually always to your west. That's something really interesting I heard, that wherever you are in California, to have a good idea where you are, just always remember west is the ocean.
yeah, is the ocean.
It's
Yeah,
the ocean. So you can never get lost. And
yeah.
Pacific Coast is the most beautiful highway. Driving was just incredible. It is really amazing. California is something else. And I've been looking at getting property there, kind of cashing in some of this equity I have here in the ATL and just buying another property, because California really is just, it is that.
You know what? And now would be a good time. Like I know where I am in Central California because I'm from Northern California, Oakland, obviously. Now I'm in Central California by the Capitol and Sacramento area. And they're doing so much building out here. And they have some good prices going on right now because they're building into the inlands of California. So there are still a couple of deals to be had. I mean, it depends on what you're looking for. But yeah, it could be a great time for you to like reinvest and come up on some property out here in California, because not only are the prices becoming, I mean, everything's insane out here, but they're lower. Imagine that. They're a little lower right now. And there's inventory to match. So yeah.
We need to have a real estate live, because I definitely need to look into this. I was actually thinking either the north, either like Jersey, kind of Princeton area, some kind of, and then just kind of drive into New York to work, or California, because either state, either area, that's where the work that I do, I mean, and the energy just kind of matches. And then California, like the weather is so beautiful.
So nice out here.
The only thing I was concerned about is the taxes. And then if we could also talk maybe later, like a political live, what is going on in Oakland?
Oh my God, the mayor. Okay, so I totally have had a freaking theory with the mayor, a working theory with the current mayor of Oakland, Shang, I forget her name. Anyway, the FBI just raided her house last week after she refused to appoint a police chief. So she came into office. There was a police chief. There's problems in Oakland. She fired the police chief within an hour of her becoming the mayor, is the story. Okay. Fires the police chief and said if they didn't have a viable candidate for police chief by the end of the year, so exactly 12 months later, that she was going to declare a state of emergency. And with declaring a state of emergency, that brings in the military to oversee the stuff. So it was a setup, you guys. So then she's interviewing, she turned down 8 viable candidates for captain of police. Then the day came for state of emergency. She did. The military descended on freaking Oakland. And then I was like, well, what's the purpose? Why would a mayor not have her city safe? You got to follow the money, right? And then plus the type of mayor she is, there's the population that could have possibly voted her in isn't that much, but she did have the money to back her. Where'd you get all this money, lady? And then we didn't even know about her, right? So my theory was she was allowing Oakland to devolve into further chaos so that she could fire sale real estate off to her investors slash supporters that are of her sameness. Okay, so now
Mm,
find out
wow.
that there was a raid, and the raid had to do with her campaign contributions,
Mhm.
specifically from these entities, and it's leading back again to the real estate, y'all. Okay, I'm not Miss Cleo. I just play her on YouTube, but I had a feeling that that's what was going on, and
I've
now
got to. I'm
go ahead.
glad you mentioned that because I heard pieces of that story, and your summary made all those pieces that I've been hearing make a lot more sense.
Right? So it's big to do. We do need to do another live. We need to cover Project 25, the 2025 Project 2025. We need to do real estate, and we'll do
Your real
some.
estate and also California state government, because first off, California is 12% of the world's economy.
Yeah, we
Not
got it
even
going on.
It's just the world, WORLD economy. 12% is just
Yeah,
California.
it's just California.
Does not even touch with the innovation that comes out of California after the past, what, 40, 50 years now?
Yeah,
The world we live in today, I mean, because I do cybersecurity, I do tech, and it's California.
yeah.
And of course, California has all the best schools. Like there's so much
Well, we try. And Gavin Newsom just moved his kids to some of the best, most expensive ones out here.
That's
Yeah.
one thing I wanted to bring up with you, Larja. Voice Twin, I think because of what happened yesterday, they may push Gavin.
Oh my God,
I
so
think
many
they may
people.
do that.
They're
There's so much
saying
going on
that
right now.
the reason they allowed Sleepy Joe to shuffle on the stage and poop his pants was because they want the DNC. The DNC wants to force another option, and allegedly, the new option is going to be Gavin Newsom, which has been they've been saying for at least 2 years here in California that he's doing a shadow campaign for the presidency, and that they were supposedly the golden ticket is Gavin and Michelle Obama, supposedly. But I'm not sure how true this could be. But after watching the man poop his pants last night, I'm sure that it could be an option. I mean, I told y'all the way he was pausing, trying to make a sentence with that glazed over look in his eye is the exact look my baby had when he would make a poop. He would just stop all of a sudden, whatever he was doing, and hold on to the side of the table and look really hard and then
Okay,
start talking again.
Voice Twin. Okay, here's what I heard. Michelle Obama refuses to campaign for Biden.
Yeah,
She,
I heard
she
that too.
refuses. Number two, I have been seeing footage. I saw a lot of footage, especially last year, where Bill Clinton and Gavin Newsom were real buddy buddy, golfing, just chilling, just the two of them together.
Yeah.
And I always thought about that because if you really think about it, the Democrat lead is Obama. It is. But we all know Bill Clinton does not sit quietly and he does think long term. I mean, Bill Clinton, he's been around for a very long time. He and Hillary are still married. Despite everything, those two will always be together forever.
Yes.
And I have some tea on those two. I don't even want to bring it up on your live. I just have my own Miss Cleo moment, which really is facts when it comes to the Clintons. There's just something I kind of want to talk to you about, Voice Twin.
Well, we can talk about it. Look, but I'll let you guys know. You know, I talk really open over here, and I'm talking about where Sleepy Joe sends my money instead of running me my money for reparations. And my last video got flagged, you guys. My last video became ad suitability because I said the actual U word and the actual I word in relation to where my motherfucking reparations word. And I asked for a human review, and they were like, "Yep, it's limited. You're going to be stuck with limited on this one, lady." And then specifically in the thing where it says, "Look here," it was because of the U word.
Yep.
But I don't mind. We can definitely have open conversations here. I feel like we should not have to be afraid of talking about these things, but there is a reason to be afraid. But
you have to be
you know what
careful
I'm
because
saying?
now to
I
be close to the election, YouTube is going to be so tight on people's channels. They are
Oh,
going to
and
be,
then
yeah,
they're going to
they're
be
going
so
to
tight.
be
And then TikTok is in on the shits, you guys. TikTok banned like a no large number of content creators, banned them permanently because they were truthers, banned them permanently en masse. Today is Friday, on Wednesday.
right,
Yeah.
but the day before the election. I mean, the election, the
The
debate.
debate. Yep.
The day before the debate.
Isn't that crazy? So
There,
yeah,
there
they're
has
all
been
working.
not only that. I know this may sound random, voice twin, but I'm pretty involved in the market, and certain tech stocks did really, really well on Wednesday.
Really?
Like certain, and I actually met, it's so funny because on Monday or Tuesday I told Michelle in her live, because I just invest, like I'm not a financial advisor, I just invest in what I know. I invest in companies that I know their product and I know what they do. So as opposed to just spending all my money at Louis Vuitton, let me
Yeah.
invest in the market. Like for example, Nvidia. I actually told Michelle's chat back in 2018, 2019, like
Yeah.
if you're in the market, you really want to study, research Nvidia. Nvidia is the company that produces the hardware, the GPU that is used to mine Bitcoin. So if you don't really want to invest in Bitcoin, look into investing in look to invest in Nvidia.
Right.
If anyone is familiar with the market, Nvidia blew up big time.
Trillions in
Big time.
trillions. Yes.
Yeah, and I'm basically Nvidia retired me. Just I'm thank you, Lord.
God is great.
God is great, and it's simply just because I invest in what I know. I research.
Yeah.
I do this all on my own. So what's odd is that Nvidia's gonna. It's now they have the stock split 10-1.
Mm-hmm.
So it's now at like 125, 135, whatever. It's going to go to 250. But I told Michelle, invest in cybersecurity, invest in these tech stocks.
Mm-hmm.
And what's so funny, a number of tech stocks that I told Michelle this Monday that just passed,
Yeah.
Wednesday just exploded, especially
No
one
way.
company. Like it just reached up like $10, like an additional $10 per share in one market day. It's like, whoa. And it's all companies that specifically have to do with security, cybersecurity, and within that, identity access management, like identity roles,
Wow.
logging in. And I told Michelle, always just do your research. I told her these companies. I mean, I outright told her a whole list of companies.
Mm-hmm.
Your research, because I'm not a financial advisor. I just invest in what I know because I do this work every single
Right.
day. But I study. I've been published in this world. I just do what I know. But
Right.
it's so interesting how the day before the debate, these tech stocks just blew up, and the Nasdaq is doing really, really well. The Nasdaq is doing. It's just, I don't know. I just find it funny. And these are all companies that are, of course, going to be mainly based in California. Most of
Right.
the real true tech stocks, they are HQ based California. Number one, that's just where tech originated.
Right.
Is in
Silicon Valley.
It is.
Mhm.
It is first and foremost. That's where everybody is.
Right.
And then number two, this again, the schools, all the best schools that support this new innovation, all come out really is from California.
Right.
Yes, we have Harvard and Yale, but nothing really compares to these California state schools. Nothing at all.
Emmanuel.
I've heard him.
Emmanuel, we're going to drop the link. Look, you just got here. I was getting ready to close it up, but Emmanuel is our resident. What do you call the person that's going to be a lawyer, jurist? Is that a JD? That's a JD, right? So he's going to be going to law school. Maybe he'll come up and tell us which one he selected.
Emmanuel, congratulations.
Yeah. Yeah.
JD.
So, but cybersecurity is a great investment right now. I'm not a financial advisor, but I am a financial investor.
If you want to invest, I cannot stress cybersecurity because the number one
and
reason,
AI, anything with AI, anything.
Well, that goes back to cybersecurity. Anything AI, quantum computing, encryption, zero trust, identity management, all of that is cybersecurity. There's no such thing as AI without cybersecurity. It is the fundamental, it is the base, it's really the infrastructure, because that is the actual protection of the technology itself. So what we're doing now is you're developing technology with security from the beginning in hand. It's like they call it like DevSecOps, development, security, operations, all together at one time. So so you don't build new technology and then add cybersecurity. You build technology with cybersecurity in hand.
Ah,
You have the entire process
yeah. Well, we're
together.
girl. We
Yeah,
can do. We need to come
AI
back.
is a completely, and that company I mentioned that went to up $10 per share, they run deep in AI. They run deep. I'll definitely put some. I'll list I'll list some companies in your comment section. But
Yeah,
like
please.
I just because I literally just buy what I've used because I know these use cases. I see what these companies do and why we have these companies. So I just like I don't do pharmaceutical, Novo Nordisk, Ozempic. I mean, Oprah's company. I would
Mhm.
say, yeah, that's because Oprah. That's another one, and she's another
Right.
California girl too. And look at Oprah. She kind of left Hollywood, and she realized the new direction is in pharmaceutical,
Right.
specifically weight loss. And Oprah's on the board of Novo Nordisk. She's on the board, so it's going to do well forever and ever. I mean, that's a good pharmaceutical, but I don't really do consumer stocks or things like that.
Mhm.
I really just keep it tech. I buy tech. The NASDAQ is basically the tech stock market. That's what it's there for. And it does, and I mean, and that's our life. Like, everything we do is on top of this technology, and the technology is in California. Plus, the weather in California just makes it more conducive to build these hardware. And
Right.
so that's what Nvidia, when in doubt, it's a great company because well, I mean, they do AI. All of these companies in some capacity, they're engaging in AI because that's the new direction. You
Yeah.
have like the Apple, the Microsoft, the Googles of the world. Yes, absolutely. These are blue chip, these are standards, but they're kind of moving a little slowly and they're way too diversified. I
Mhm.
like to stay with companies that really are specialized. Like you do
Right.
one thing only, and then eventually you're going to get bought out. And I mean, I can talk all day about this stuff, but being in the market, and really I've only been like 2016, has definitely paid off. And it's better if you're going to shop and buy, Black women, we love to shop, we love to buy,
Mhm.
but also look into the market as well.
Yeah.
Definitely look into just kind of throwing some money in there, investing, but do your research and only buy what you understand and know. Like,
Right.
okay, so this is what you do and why you do it. So this is the purpose of the company, the use case, the business use case. So I just think like that. Plus, I'm in the industry and I know what these companies do. I see it every single day
Right.
on it. And I was just like, let me just go ahead and just buy this stuff. So, yeah, so it's been good and it's worked out. So if you have just a share to everybody. And I do
That's excellent information,
feel
and you people be taking notes. I mean, like she said, this isn't advice. This is
like
just a conversation,
a
and you do your own
conversation.
due diligence and your
Do
own
your
research
research, do your
because it's up
research.
to you,
It's up to
and
you.
it's your dollar. So, but this is excellent information from somebody who is maybe knows a chapter more than you do. So go ahead and take a note. You know what I'm saying? Not only the cybersecurity, look at your real estate, but diversify is the thing. Diversify on your 401ks, only match what your employer does, because when you get taxed at 59 and a half, and plus the fees and stuff, are your taxes going to be higher or lower when you're 59? They're going to be higher, and you're going to have less write-offs because your kids are going to be grown. So if you went over what your employer put in, you're the only one paying taxes on that. Your employer got an incentive to match you. Okay.
Also, when it comes to 401k, to everyone in the chat, if Black women, if you don't own a home, remember that they do allow one, not like a gift withdrawal, and you can use that to buy a home. So
Mhm.
if your employer does offer 401k, remember 401k is pre-tax. So you
Right.
take the money out and then you're taxed after you've taken your quote unquote 401k money out.
But you can only take a certain amount
A
prior
certain
to age 59 and a half.
But you can do one withdrawal and you can use that withdrawal to buy a home. So this
Mhm.
just definitely do your research, everyone.
And
If you're looking to purchase a house, ladies, it is a great way. It is a great way to use that money towards your down payment.
did
And interest
you
rates are high, but baby, oh my God, voice twin. since I moved into this house, I already have like about 200,000 in equity.
That
That's
is
for my
amazing.
house. And I'm not even California. And
Mhm.
California benefits are fantastic. Well, like if you foreclose on your home in California, the whole thing is written off. Like there's so
Yeah.
many great incentives
So many
living in
awesome things in
California.
California.
Oh, we
My
definitely
gosh.
need
And then
like
there are so many programs even outside of pandemic era times
yes,
that will help you keep.
healthcare workers. There's a portfolio. There are portfolios specifically just for you to purchase a home.
Yep.
Just for those of you who are in education, nonprofit,
Yep.
those of you who are
Education.
healthcare
Yep.
workers, especially post-COVID. The United States loves their healthcare workers, CNA, registered nurses, LPNs. If you're looking to purchase a home, there are portfolios where there's money just for you, just
Right.
for you and you only. So if you really are looking to purchase a home, definitely do that. Even with the interest rate being at where it is 7%, 8%, it's still not as high. It's higher than it was before 2020, but it's still a great time to buy a home. Equity is there. Get into this equity, Black women. Do not miss out. I mean, it creates a level of security I cannot even describe. Plus,
Yeah.
it's so much better to own. We have better protections as Black women when you are a
Hmm.
homeowner, not as a renter. And
Yeah.
it really just your credit score working, just access to credit, even getting a car. I could go on and on and on. And when you have a home, you have equity, like I'm discussing with my voice twin, you can use that equity to then purchase another property.
Another property,
And that's
or
what
take
rich
some
people do.
equity and go get some of that good Nvidia stock before it goes up to
Yeah.
$350 a share.
Yes,
Bam.
because yeah, Nvidia was trading about around 2020. I think Nvidia was around 200, I think. And then because past 2020, everything has just exploded. Equity has exploded, the interest rates has increased.
Yeah.
But things have become more expensive. But even with things more expensive, if you have purchased assets, your assets have appreciated.
Appreciated. Right.
Everyone's assets have appreciated, whether you
Oh,
own
yeah. And your car isn't an asset.
your car, anything that moves really isn't an asset.
Right.
Once you can drive it off, it starts depreciating. So you
Right.
do want property that just sits pretty and then just collects that equity.
Hmm.
So Black
There's
women,
also land banking. If you don't want an actual house, you could do
land is
land
another great option.
where,
Just pay the tax and then just live off equity.
yep,
That's a great option. I was
exactly.
thinking of doing that too. I was looking at that as
Mhm.
well. Because
Another thing with the land banking is if you do it in places like, so I was saying how we're building out in my area. So if you look at any area that's like even 10, 15 miles beyond our city limits, that property will be cheaper. You land bank that property in anticipation of when it's built out in 20 years, and then you'll be sitting on that gold mine. You see what I'm saying? So you look at a nucleus by by 20, 50 miles outside of the nucleus, hold, buy and hold, buy and hold. Like when you drive from LA to Oakland, you see all that land sitting out with the for sale signs. And you think, why would I buy land out here? Well, because it'll be built out eventually. That's called land banking. And then you would have an opportunity there too. So, so many ways for
so
us
many,
as Black women
absolutely.
and humans in general to not live in poverty and to be on the comeuppance. And we just need to share these ideas. I'm so glad that you're willing to share your experiences and your
Oh,
ideas.
I will, like, first off, this whole book session is BS. Revelation is free. I'm not, because a lot of young Black women ask me questions because they see the stuff I have. I do love expensive bags. And I talk their ear off. Like, there's no, how am I going to book a session to a younger Black woman? You're
Right.
supposed to put her on.
Just put her on.
You tell her what you did. You tell her, this is where I work. This is what I do. This is how I gather assets. You're not, no, nobody should, you're not, this is not to pay.
Right.
No one should tell you, hey, give me money and then I'll tell you. Absolutely not. No.
Exactly.
And you really shouldn't pay anybody unless they're licensed. Because if there's any issue, then you can sue them. But
Right.
we're supposed to share this information. Everybody else does it. That the Asians do it, the Jews do it, white people do it. Everybody works together and puts each other on so
Mhm.
everyone can make money. So that's
Right.
of course what we were all supposed to do. I know I definitely do it for Black women. You have a question, I will definitely tell you what I did and where to buy assets. And of course, luxury bags. Kelly Nola said something on a live a few months ago. Like these handbags are art. A Louis Vuitton bag is an investment, and we all know Louis Vuitton holds its value. The Europeans are very, very good in particular at keeping their brand. So if you are someone who does like to buy luxury bags, definitely buy the bag. Of course, get the insurance, which you can put towards your house, car, get it insured, and take care of your bag. Like if you do like a luxury bag is an asset. It is. And of course, you get the enjoyment. You get to flex with your luxury bag. But buying these expensive handbags, it is an asset. These bags do hold their value. It's especially the French brands, they truly do. So if that's something that you would like to do, absolutely do it. I mean, your all of your stuff, like we buy things. Like if you're a Black woman who likes to shop, take good care of your things, whether it be your skincare, take good care of your stuff. Like I have things I've had for a while and it still has value. So that's why I'm saying, young Black women, get your home by yourself, and then buy all the stuff you like to buy, keep it in your home, and let all of your stuff appreciate, and then you be in the walls of your palace. You are a queen.
And then you make sure and get an irrevocable trust so that everything is not in your name, but it's your asset, but it's not in your control, so that if anything happens where liability is involved, that asset is protected. But it has to be an irrevocable trust, not a revocable trust, which is the reason that Michael Jackson's kids haven't got their money yet, is because the IRS got into the trust when it was switching from revocable to irrevocable.
That is
And
a
now
whole other
they have not,
conversation.
exactly. And now they have
800 million tax debt on Michael Jackson's estate. Nobody
because they
can touch
said,
it.
right, because they
800
said he
million.
undervalued his estate. And I'm not sure that I leave it. I don't think the IRS is telling the truth. I think that they're just messing with this man's legacy and money and trying to keep his from eating, because, and that's what I tell all of my people that I deal with. I'm like, irrevocable is the only way. Don't do nothing that switches last minute, because there's an opportunity for this kind of thing to happen. But if you would have had an irrevocable trust with everything in there, then then that's untouchable, period. It's untouchable.
This is why it's important, Voice Twin, when we're talking about HBCUs, as Black people, we need to have more attorneys, more doctors, more accountants.
Yes.
We have to have these people. And because, especially with Emmanuel here, and he's about to go to law school, what in actuality, the proportionality of the population, that's the number of attorneys we're supposed to have. So if white people are about, let's just say they're 60% of the population, then 60% of all attorneys need to be white. The same thing with Asians. They're about 10% of the population. Then 10% of the attorneys need to be Asian.
Right.
Black people are 14%. This is everybody in the Black delegation. 14% of the United States population, which is the way it's been since the beginning, about 14 to 25% of the United States population since the first census, 1789, has always been Black. But yet we are only 7% of all attorneys.
Right.
That is,
we're definitely not represented in politics and medicine.
No.
That's why they were able to experiment on us with no anesthesia, because there wasn't a Black person in the room talking about, whoa, wait.
We had to have Black doctors. It's safer for us to not go to the doctor. I know this may sound bad, just my opinions. These are not the opinions of Larger Curves and her YouTube channel, just my opinions. That it's actually safer to stay healthy as a Black woman. Take your iron, go outside, get the sun, and stay healthy, be active. Because you start going into these hospitals, that's when things start going left for us. And it's just because we don't have enough representation. I am not going to go to a non-Black female doctor. That's never going to happen. I'll figure it out on my own. I'm just not going to do it. And luckily, I barely ever had to go to a doctor, because if I did, that's where we start having problems. Because they will never treat you the way they treat each other, the way they treat us. It's completely different. So we do need to have people who understand us because our melanin is more than just cosmetic. We synthesize protein differently.
We
As
do.
Black people, we synthesize protein differently. There are differences, categorical differences.
Categorical.
Categorical differences. We need to have accountants because that's the money, someone who understands how to move the money appropriately. And then from an accountant, there goes for what you just mentioned, taxes, which is incredibly important.
Right.
And we need to have attorneys because the attorney, this is arguing contract
Right.
in criminal law in court. We need someone who specializes in this area. So yeah, hopefully we can do another live. It's so important.
We'll definitely do another live. But my first people just got here. My first
Okay.
people just got here. I love
Everyone
you
have a
guys.
wonderful weekend.
Thank you. I love you guys. Thanks for
Love you
coming to Play Curvy. And remember, there's enough to go around. So get diversified and go get some. Talk to you in the
Diversified
next one.
word of the weekend.
Thanks, Allie. Thanks,
Bye.
Joyce. Again.
Bye. Thank you, everyone.
Okay,
Bye.
see you in the next video.